Let's go.
Let's go.
Oh, you all froze literally as we're starting, which was kind of a shame.
Oh,
Hopefully
boy.
this isn't a sign of things to come and Discord isn't gonna like break on us again.
It's okay. We'll do what we did last time. We'll immigrate to Brazil.
That is true. Brazil did work last time, and it was also slightly warmer than here, which is also pleasant.
Paul, I don't think you're frozen.
Welcome to Twisted Fates. We're coming to you live from Christ the Redeemer.
Paul's not
I
frozen.
can't tell if Paul's frozen.
No, he's just
or
staying in
really
place.
He's not.
ventriloquism.
He's just
No, he was just standing in place.
because he's being an asshole.
I wanted to see if I could fool you.
Matthew is frozen. At least for me.
Yeah, Matthew, I think genuinely is actually frozen. Technical difficulty is going to be great today as we welcome you all back to Twisted Fates. As always, I am your Dungeon Master, and these are my boys who at this point, going into our 23rd session, need no introduction, though I suppose to some degree we do have a little bit of change in roster as Marcusar is back. Paul, I will kill you again and he will never come back.
Sorry, I looked at the Discord.
See, I can't even give context to why you're laughing because we can't do this again. So all I have to do is apologise and try and recap over Paul breaking down.
I think Paul liked the meme I posted.
It was really good.
As last week, or last session, we had again a little bit of a split session as Eidolon and Roderick got to settle their differences. Roderick became Chunky Salsa. Differences were
I don't
settled.
feel Roderick got to settle anything. I think Eidolon did a lot of the settling for us.
Yeah, well,
So long, Gay Bowser.
differences were settled. You know?
Yeah.
As Eidolon did get to leave the tower, walking quite, I guess, scot-free with now a very fancy warhammer and a sack full of gold.
Wolfric has that sack of gold right now.
He does, yeah. My group of three, I suppose, Roderick obviously switching to Marcusar as Paul rejoined Ranagash and Wolfric, weren't so put together, I guess is one way to describe it. They kind of became fixated on the dart and continued wanting to walk into the forest, and it got very heated between the three boys as they were deciding what to do.
Well, I apologise for thinking that the person that knows nature, the person with a positive intelligence modifier, would have a fucking clue what was going on.
Just because the character has a positive intelligence modifier doesn't mean Paul does.
I think he was referring to Matthew at that point.
Oh, man.
You're just proving his point. You're proving your own
stands.
points.
But they did eventually, I guess, get some direction on where to go. They asked Sinmaya, Ranagash's talking book, to give some insight into where Eidolon could possibly be, and got told to go back the way they came. Which was great for the book, but less so for the boys, as they had to trudge their way back through the forest, back towards Kinreen, and, well, at least the book was telling the truth, as they met Eidolon on the road for quite a hilarious confrontation that quickly turned sour, as Eidolon realised that Marcusar was alive again. Which led to quite a tense confrontation, shall we say, where Ranagash and Wolfric got to go back to Kinreen. They went to go and fix up Frida's house. They try and tidy Eidolon's room, get it in a better state, and obviously check on Frida herself, see how her injuries are holding up. And Marcusar followed Eidolon into the woods, where there was a good chance he could have died again.
He almost wasn't alive again.
As jumping through some hoops and some hurdles, Marcusar was able to at least tell Eidolon a little bit about what he had been through, why he was back, what his intentions for being back were, as well as his connection to Gaerdrah, though made it very clear to Eidolon that he didn't want anyone else knowing. Eidolon agreed to keep that promise on the caveat that if Gaerdrah had told Marcusar to do anything, or told Marcusar anything in general, that he be the first to know, so that they can at least be prepared, they can at least know what's going on. Where, Marcusar, you're still injured, aren't you? Or did you change your health?
No, I am still injured, yeah.
Cool.
I don't know why I checked my book at character sheets.
They tenderized him up a little bit.
Yeah, you did hurt him slightly. So Marcusar is a little bit injured, as the two of you kind of come back through the woods, back into Kinreen, back towards Frida's house, where by the time you get there, for Wulfric and Ran, you guys have tidied up the bedroom to your best abilities. Dinner has been left out for you in a kind of cooking pot. You are kind of chilling in the kitchen. Frida has gone to bed early. She wasn't feeling the best, so decided to retire rather than push herself. She made sure, though, before she did actually retire, that you are, got enough food, there's enough water for you, there's alcohol there for you, there's snacks if you want them, the beds were made for you for the evening. Like, when I say she went to bed early to rest, it wasn't after doing half a day's labour in about 2 hours. As for the two of you, you are in the kitchen, kind of looking out over onto the gardens with dinner. At this point, it is another stew, though this one perhaps more spice is to it than the one last night. The other one was quite earthy, a lot of root veg and kind of more red meat. This seems to be a bit more white meat and almost aromatic flavours to it, rather than down to earth tubers, where Marcusar and Eidolon come back into the house. Marcusar's not dead, thankfully.
Or no.
He's got a few more lives left in him. Might as well be a tabaxi at this point. I'd more just give a wave over to Wulfric. You still got the bag?
Aye.
Eidolon will come over. More just reach his hand out, more or less just for the satchel.
There you go.
As more, I'm assuming there's like a countertop here.
Yeah, it's like a
more just
old-fashioned kind of counter table where there's some stools around it for obviously you guys to get something to eat.
More just taking an empty space and it clearing space, pouring out all the gold just to see how much he actually picked up over the course of that venture.
I did tell you, didn't I?
You did, but this is more for his purposes. I know exactly how much it is. It's more just for a visual representation for me and the rest of them.
Yeah, because I think it was 154 pieces, wasn't it, in total?
156.
150. I was too off. Yes. As this is, well, it's more gold than you've ever seen in your life, Ranagash. Who would ever need this much gold? Marcusar, again, this is quite quantitative, though you have seen similar quantities of this kind of gold from less than illegal activities. Not, obviously, not you portray like getting the gold, but it always didn't hurt if you stole some of it and gave it to someone else to disrupt a farming opportunity. And Wulfric...
eco-terrorism.
Dor Holland, we need to cook.
Thank you for remembering his NPC, my NPC.
And Wulfric, you have seen gold of this amount before, usually from bigger jobs or bigger payments, but it usually goes to the dragon's coffers rather than being held on a person. So this is a lot of money.
I take it, were they were like paid to kidnap and kill you, right? And I take it this was the payment.
This was all of the gold that they had at their establishment at current time. They hadn't got paid for the job yet. But I feel okay taking this because they were willing to take ransom money. This is not good people's money.
Well, it should go to the greater good.
I am certain that most of them are dead. Some of them might be alive, but the bigger annoyances are in fact dead.
I can make sure that some of this goes towards the greater good use.
That being?
Sophia. Look, she's the greatest good I'm ever gonna get, right?
He made the reference. He did it.
I inverted the Frozone.
I take it you don't take gold, Paul. But I don't remember you doing so in the past.
I do not. I have no need for gold.
Matthew, do you take any?
Need much. Enough.
Just thinking how much easier it would be to play D&D if I had money.
Paul, shocking revelations.
Yeah, right.
Cost money and other statements.
Paul wants money. Marcusar does not. It's a dichotomy.
And so it would be 52 each if Matthew took a third of it. But if Matthew doesn't want a third of it,
I need a third of it now. I don't need 52.
So what could we could add 15 onto each of it. And how much Matthew gets in the end? I don't know, I'm bad at math.
100, you get 78 each.
78.
How much does Matthew get?
I mean, I was splitting it down the middle. Does
So-
Radagast not want anything?
You could take it down to 150 and give me the 6, and then you both get 75 each.
Yeah.
You only want 6?
There you go.
Well, it's just enough to pay for food and board. He doesn't need anything else.
He's paying for
You
food
and
and board
add
at his own mother's
75
house.
onto your
75. Let's go.
add that onto your wedding fund.
Yeah,
I guess
Ranagash like only needs enough for like when he stays at an inn, for example.
Guess whose number of gold pieces just doubled?
Oh boy, 16.
You're fucking rolling in it now, Matthew.
Wolfric, that money goes towards the wedding. Don't waste it on a fancy weapon or armor.
I
much
mean, he
gold
still
do you
needs to
have,
buy
Ian?
her a fucking ring first.
I have priorities.
How much gold do you have now? Ian?
110.
Not bad.
Sheesh.
That could get you a decent wedding ring. Or a decent engagement ring.
Well, what's the rule? It's 3 months salary is like a general rule of thumb. And we've been on
Also-
the road for about 3 months, so yeah, it should be
What-
all the
what
money
would-
you've earned.
Yeah.
Also, Paul, I'm sorry about this. I know it's a good warhammer, but I worked out with my mechanics. I can only use either my longsword or my warhammer, essentially per time. So I have no reason to have both of them. So I'm probably gonna sell it. I'm sorry.
It's fine. I mean, what need does Roderick have of it?
Yeah, his head
Yeah, I
is
could go
his head is
nestle it into, like, the
smooshed against
cavity.
the wall. It's burned.
shove it down.
Don't put the warhammer down his throat.
You have proficiency in it, though, don't you?
I do. It's
He
just
has-
to
so-
use it as a monk weapon. I can only do either my longsword or my warhammer per rest. Essentially,
Yeah.
I essentially would have to pick one of them, and there's no reason for me not to pick my longsword because it's an additional +2 as well as being 2d10.
Sure. Yeah.
So like Eidolon gets the Warhammer proficiency because when he made Eidolon, we had to kind of like, I guess, mess around with the system a little bit, which gave him weapon.
No, we didn't.
We did.
I
we
just
had,
chose variant human and got a feat.
yeah, we had to
I wasn't
use
messing with it.
rather than using your feat for something that could have been more useful or more practical, we used it for the character aesthetic, which gave him 4 weapon proficiencies. So he took longsword, glaive, longbow, warhammer. But to
The
turn
only
those
one that I
into
actually needed was the only one I needed was longsword. The other
Yeah.
3 were just references to Talion from Shadow of War.
the aesthetic. But
Your character is Talion from Shadow of War.
Ta-da! That's where the aesthetic came from. I was playing Shadow of War at the time.
how
This is just, now that you've mentioned it, this is a blatant rip-off.
giant
More
wall,
brother.
giant wall,
More
spooky land on the other side of wall, spooky entity that is naturally evil and wants to kill everything, giant spooky tower where the giant evil entity exists, man survives death but only because of giant spooky entity inside of him. How did you not notice this, Paul?
WB, the Tolkien estate, and Monolith Games are coming for your ass.
How did you not notice
I
this?
We can
mean,
get
like several
this.
sessions ago, I pointed out that the Eidolon's just a very cynical Yuji Itadori from Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yeah, but no one got that reference because we're not nerds like you.
People who watch Jujutsu Kaisen will get the fucking reference.
Yeah. Most of it was coincidental. Like, for example, the wall and the spooky land on the other side was actually coincidental. I wasn't even thinking of Mordor at the time.
It was actually, so when he was developing the idea, it was actually me that pointed out because he was playing Shadow of War alongside of it at the time. It was like, yeah, this is very similar. And he's like, oh fuck, so it is.
Yeah, fair.
The character aesthetic, though, came from Talion because I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
I came up with Marksar because at the time I was thinking about becoming an eco-terrorist.
Are you still an eco-terrorist?
He just wanted to trial it to see how he felt about being an eco-terrorist, to see if he liked it or not.
He dies twice.
A little bit.
He died twice.
Yeah, I've realised through this campaign that eco-terrorist is not the career for me.
Also, Ewan, was there an interaction you wanted to have with Eidolon during this sort of time?
This
Or
is
is that not around
downtime.
about now?
So if there is something you guys want to do, you have that little bit of downtime. So
Right.
Marksar will pester Frida for a veggie option. 'cause he said that-
she's in bed.
He's gone to bed. Injured woman is in bed.
Okay, well
In terms
then
of
I go
veggie option, you have bread.
Okay.
Let's
Good
get
berry is
this
a cantrip.
bread.
Cantrip for a supple spell.
Yeah.
Let's get
I
this
guess I'll
bread.
just. Is there at least some like olive oil that I can dip it in?
No, there's
I thought you
bread.
were going to say, can I pour myself a glass of olive oil?
You have bread
Yes.
and butter, but you
Oh,
don't have
strong
butter. There is bread and cheese, but you don't eat cheese. Your options are bread.
Bread.
Is Marcus R vegan?
Yeah, I'm vegan.
I thought he was just vegetarian.
No. I'm going hard
It would
with
be
this.
so fucking difficult to be
devout
vegan in
druid.
medieval times.
So your options are bread.
Marcus
I'll
R
have
bread.
bread.
That's it.
Bread and some vegetables, only some.
But Paul is right. Bread and olive oil do be hitting.
They do though.
It does. Usually when it's got like a nice spread of butter on it though, and he can't even have that.
I can't have
Yeah.
butter.
Sucks to suck.
Yeah, you're literally in the
Wow.
house of an orcish, or the wife of an orcish hunter. You're not going to be getting a lot of vegan options here. That isn't bread.
Is there like trophies on the wall?
Not a lot of them, but a lot of the furniture is either made from antler or skin.
We have
I'm
not
finding the
seen
one wooden chair and I'm parking myself on that.
we have not seen Ranagash's dad, but in my mind, Ranagash's dad looks like the fucking Giga Chad meme.
Because he is.
Dude,
Just color it green, and that's it. That's it.
just has no idea what magic is.
They're going to be
Like,
kind of
all you need to
surprised
do
when
is-
they meet your dad, aren't
That's
they,
your
Ran?
meme assignment.
Yeah, they're going to be pleasantly surprised when they meet your dad if that's the image they have in their head.
I'm eating bread.
I'm starting to condition myself to poisons because I'm fucking sick of failing saves against poisons.
Like fucking Killua from Hunter x Hunter. You just like. Sorry, that's 2 for 2 for Weeb references.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can get a third one in there somewhere.
Try it.
Right, Eidolon.
I'd look up from mixing poisons.
This is
Probably sick of
this
this
is not a
shit.
private conversation. This is a conversation the entire party can be privy to. It's very difficult to travel places when we know your backstory, but we can't tell people. Like naturally, we can't tell people. That's yours to tell, right? But we're going to Thornsguard, right?
I'd long as a slow nod. That is on the way.
If I can't explain anything about you to Sophia or her family, they're gonna think you're really fucking weird. So we're gonna have to give you a cover story.
Oh great, this is fun.
What?
I know being where you're from is completely normal to you, and I respect that deeply, but average people are going to find that really strange.
Find what strange?
The
You're
fact
losing me here.
Eidolon, you have a monster living inside you.
Listen,
Don't
I
we
need to
all?
clarify. That's not normal.
Markstar would pipe up and say, "Don't we all?"
Shut up, tree boy, I'm not speaking in metaphors.
Neither is he. It's called alcoholism.
We've all got demons. Eidolon literally. The rest of us figuratively.
No, yours are literal, you, and it's just whenever we come across a construct.
Statue.
Honey, it's time for your blunt force trauma. To quote that meme. Anyway, continue, Ewan, I'm sorry.
So do you want to... we'll give you some time to construct a backstory so that we don't have to explain a lot, unless you want to introduce yourself as the guy from the wall, but we're going to have a lot of questions.
Let's make a new backstory, and we should also rip this off from Shadow of Mordor.
Oi. I didn't rip it off, Paul. It's inspired.
How do you feel about playing an elvish smith who forged some rings?
Oh, totally. Listen, I can introduce myself as I've done before. People haven't been... Okay, the monster inside is not normal. I don't need to worry about explaining that. That shouldn't come up in conversation.
We do not speak of that. There will be a moment when we stop talking about weird shit, and that's going to be within a country yard, Thornsguard. People know me.
Mm-hmm.
We've been to everybody else's turf. People knew Marcusar was weird, but that was kind of a given.
Yes. His old faith is weird. Where he takes it, he's weird.
Everyone here kind of knew that Ranagash has visions.
Not really, but
As
your point
far
still
as the
stands.
As far as the people of Thornsgard are concerned, I'm a perfectly normal mercenary being a perfectly normal florist in a perfectly normal town.
Eidolon gives you a slow round of applause.
Your insistence upon this implies that this might not be normal.
Listen, I respect your worry, but I can just introduce myself as a traveler.
That works.
They don't need to know why I'm here.
Perhaps a fake
And-
name, though.
No, my name is fine. I'm rather fond of it, thank you.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, the changing of the name was not necessary.
You guys already know more than I wanted to tell you initially, and I'm fine with the amount you know.
Yeah, I really don't want to know what you were like when you were a teenager.
That's not what I meant, but
That's not
you
what
can
you
take
meant,
it
but
that
that's
way.
what I'm taking it as.
You can take it that way.
I mean, he's not wrong.
Excuse me?
Eidolon was quite the teenager.
I take radiant amount of offense to that. I'm sure everything will be fine when we get to Thornsgard.
Yes. Also, I require to ask you all a preemptive question. What is your opinion on apples?
Love them.
That's good. That's kind of the response I was looking for.
Why?
Sophia has a next door neighbor, a wee old man, and his wife. They're called Arissa and Constantine, and they are very incessant in sharing what they bake. However, they own an apple orchard, so everything they bake has apples in it. Things you couldn't even anticipate having apples in it have apples in it.
Must we?
Don't be fucking rude, Eidolon.
My insistence is, do we have the time to stop by an apple emporium?
We're not stopping by. They will show up. The minute they know I'm in town, they will arrive. It's like fucking clockwork. I'd swear they had a magic tracker on me.
Are you sure they don't just do it to everyone?
It's just me and Sophia. It genuinely is just us.
Fine. It'll be fine.
It's because, you know, when they needed help moving their stock, I helped. You know?
No, I don't know.
They owe you a life debt.
I mean, I helped move shipments a couple of times. I helped get a cart unstuck once or twice.
It sounds like
Apples will be
something-
fine. We're likely to spend a night
do-
there anyway. Can we
Never-
anticipate anything potentially negative when we get to Thornsgard?
No.
Pause.
Well.
First time for everything. Actually have a nice time in a town.
Yeah, everyone in Thornsgard is nice. If a little halfling woman comes up to you and asks where I am and you lie to her, she will break your knees. That is just a given thing.
A lot to take in at once, but alright.
That is the only negative thing, and it will only affect you.
Do you want us to point her in your direction?
I miss Quinny. She probably thinks I'm dead. I would like to see her, yes.
Then, listen, it's likely we'll all be together in Thornsgard for a good period of time anyway, so... Listen, as long as you can promise us that this is finally going to be a fucking normal town.
It will be a perfectly normal town, I promise you that. In-game, Wolfric can promise you that. Out of game, I cannot promise you that, because I don't know what M has done. Please do not hurt them.
Why would I do anything? What
They
could I
crashed.
possibly do? Like, look at my face, I'm innocent. What would I do?
Do not torture the little old man. Do not torture the little old man and the little old woman. They just make apple pies. That's all they do.
We can make apple pies with their organs.
Oh, there's gonna be some weird side quest shit where they're actually like fucking demons or something like that, and they've been
No,
entrancing
they're just-
all the people with their apple pies.
No,
They're the
just-
Sweeney Todd of Thornsgard.
They're just the next door neighbours to Ewan's girlfriend, where they have a small obsession over Ewan and his girlfriend because they think they're super cute.
Them so hard, just like us.
And then there's Quinny. Quinny likes to check in Wolfric because Wolfric did the generic good deed thing where he took her cat down from a tree.
Yeah. It's kind of like
You
the.
sweetie.
She's
You're
kind of
just
like
a fireman for this place.
Yeah, it's kind of like that if she was to
Basically.
call emergency services, it would be she would call emergency services, but specifically ask for Wolfric to be sent over, even though he could be like half an hour later.
Yeah.
You're just a fireman.
Wolfric is quite close with several people in Thorngard, and it's literally just because he's a nice guy who does things for them and doesn't ask for things in return.
Ah.
When will we be heading to Thornsguard?
Presumably, tomorrow.
After we've slept here, it's the next place on the road. Might as well stop there.
Let's go.
I mean,
Place to resupply. Wolfric has a chance to finally tell some people that he's alive.
Maybe pop the question.
Pop the question.
Yo.
Ewan
I
can
can't
Ewan
wait.
can ask me to marry him.
That's fun. Not awkward.
I stipulate that it has to. Don't just do what would be nice for the character. I want it to be like, Ewan has to actually woo you. You have to want to marry Ewan for it to get that yes.
She wouldn't do it any differently.
Yeah.
I am.
If it's a shit proposal, I want a no.
Ewan is going to have to convince me to marry him.
I am this close. I'm this close. I'm this.
And let me tell you, Ewan, it's tough enough just trying to get her to date you in the first place. Let alone going beyond that.
Took you 4 months. He's got 1 session.
I'm this close to the end, and my fingers are touching.
Iconic. Hey, Ewan, you've still got maybe like. Actually, it's next week. You've not got much time at all.
2 weeks technically. He's got 2 weeks.
2 weeks to plan a proposal. Well,
He's got 2 weeks to plan a proposal.
I know how things work.
I want a big gesture in
Just
a
things.
restaurant in front of hundreds of people.
What
Boom,
do we
boom,
Thornsguard doesn't have hundreds of people. It's a small town.
do we need to be the waiting staff to make sure everything goes right for him?
Thornsguard and its 12s of people.
12s? How many 12s? 2?
I want
3
Wolfric-
maybe?
I think
I want
there's
Wolfric
like
to do a
I think in my head there's
well-choreographed
maybe like
dance.
enough for like maybe 30, 40 folk in Thornsguard.
Everyone knows each other. They're all brothers and sisters.
Not,
of us.
not that kind
Tens.
of town,
It's
Paul.
No, I didn't mean it like that. Get your head out of the gutter.
I like to envision this in character as Wolfric trying to explain who's in Thornsguard.
Why do I feel like we're on the run from the law, like from the Discord gods?
Just casually hopping to Brazil to get away from them.
Yeah.
With
So
this,
Wolfric's just finished explaining to us how Thornsguard is.
how Thornsguard is, how he remembers it. Is there anything like you guys else would want to do in, I guess, a small moment of downtime?
I don't exactly think so.
Marcusar is kind of concerned, like, should I tell them about the snake? Because there was the giant snake that we were following. Do we just leave that?
If you want to say something, I have no fucking clue about it.
Exactly. I don't think Marcusar would bring it up, because he knows what the snake is. So, I think Marcusar's going to keep that close to the chest.
Eidolon is silently happy that he didn't need to expand upon anything the party knows. I'll go back to essentially drinking poison.
What does the party know about Eidolon at this point?
A lot.
Yeah.
Too much for...
Yes, but they don't know what he's been not telling them, is the important
Yeah.
part.
Wolfric has his dinner and then he goes to bed.
Like a normal person.
POV, you are going to bed.
Ewan, fucking stop.
I can't.
You're a
It's
menace.
fucking hardwired into my brain.
So, Marcusar would stay silent on the whole, there's a giant fucking snake dragon thing in the woods.
As
Well, can't be important.
one by one, the 4 of you head to bed. For yourselves, guys.
Actually, just... Oh, never mind, sorry.
No, go
You
for it,
started
Craig.
again. Just one more thing before we'd head to bed. I guess I'd just ask Wolfric and Ranagash how Ranagash's mother's doing.
From what the
Considering
two,
last time we saw her, she'd been fucking bludgeoned.
for the 2 of you, what you kind of guess, I guess, from Frida's situation is in terms of her body, she seems to be healing. Wulfric's lay on hands did a lot of work for that, helped to accelerate the healing process. But when you guys came back to see her, she, while still doing stuff and being up and active, she seemed to be quite sluggish and she seemed to be quite sore. Hence, she retired quite early. She was feeling kind of unwell. Not a more sudden thing, as she reassures it's kind of been a gradual thing throughout the day, or at least since you guys left, coming to the afternoon. So she was just going to go up and sleep it off. Would you guys then relay that to Eidolon?
Yeah.
Is there anything you don't actually do about it, though, you two? Considering, Ranagash, this is your parent, and Wulfric, you are the designated healer.
Designated driver.
Yeah, is there anything you two want to do about that?
She seems to be recovering fine.
That's alright then. Ranagash, I'm sure you can talk to her tomorrow morning before we head.
Yeah.
As I'd more just wave off and head to the room, and hopefully it's not fucking destroyed this time.
The bed is very much broken. They couldn't obviously fix that.
The floor will do.
Well, the bed is still intact. You can still sleep on it, just there is no headboard anymore. Your dresser is still in half, though it's kind of been neatly piled up into a corner, and all of your personal belongings, to the best of their abilities, have been put on the dresser, though a lot of the room still smells quite potently of the kind of black leaves that Hazel gave you, as they have done their best to clear it up, but obviously not wanting to touch the incredibly deadly poison, it's still kind of strewn across the floor.
I'll touch it instead, and I'll clear it up.
Dart's still there.
Is the dart still there?
We never got the dart.
Technically no, because Ran and Eidolon will have cleaned that up and moved it away so that it's no longer on your bed, but the remnants of the poison that was on the dart will still kind of be stained almost black into the sheet at this point. You're just kind of like, that's kind of what happens if you leave it lying for an afternoon.
But it just looks like someone shit in bed.
A little bit, yeah.
Oh no, man.
Eidolon, you've made a mess.
Don't put it like that. Alright, I can sleep fine then.
As for you, 4 of you, you don't actually get a long rest tonight. You only get the effects of a short rest.
Oh no.
So
we're in danger.
No.
I will give you a little moment for probably Marcusar and Eidolon if you guys have hit die left to spare, if you want to spend some of it. If you've got that, you can do so now in this small interim.
I get key points back. Hell yeah.
You do get key points back. I don't think for Ran or Wulfric you guys have expended anything that requires you getting it back.
Nope.
Just gonna do a quick arcane recovery, but I think that's all I can do. What was your level? Okay. 4.
Yeah, you're 4 now, because you are level 8.
Big boy.
As
I will touch my longsword and reassume myself with that instead.
Oh, that's almost exactly what I needed. That's fantastic.
How much more did you need?
That's 3 over what I needed. So.
Yo, Paul, do you have a +4 to con?
Oh wait, not. Fuck, I did it wrong. Well, actually, that just reminded. That takes 4 off, so I'm actually just 1 hit point below 0.
Oh yeah, you've still got.
Might...
Is it still Roderick's constitution by any chance?
It might have been. Yeah. It's fine.
I got pretty excited for a second.
It's all sorted out. I have a +3 to con, so all I had to do is take away 4. But that still works for me. That puts me 1 below max, so I'm good.
Yeah, because I finished short rest, I can rechannel myself to my longsword, so it is my monk weapon once more.
What have you done with the Warhammer? Are we just leaving it?
No, I have essentially 2 sheaths on my back now, one for my longsword and one for the Warhammer.
But you're not going to use it, are you?
I might. If I need to break down a fucking wall, I'll use it.
It gives you a +1 to intimidation.
Just
+2.
Having all of these weapons on Eidolon.
+2.
Thank God you're not like a flippy monk, because if you're a flippy monk, that Warhammer would really impede your movement.
Yeah, no, I'm just a grounded monk. I can't be knocked prone anymore.
As yes, I guess the night isn't as calm as you would like it to be, considering it is a short rest and not a long rest. As you guys only maybe get about 3, close to 4 hours, starting to drift off into a deep sleep when the 4 of you are woken by screaming in the house. Screaming that specifically, I guess, startles Ranagash more than the 3 of you, as it is your mother, and for the 3 of you, it is obviously coming from Frida's room. as kind of bursting from the doors, bursting into the hallway, the four of you kind of look at each other in a very panicked and dazed state, having been woken from bed.
Is Ranagash wearing feety pajamas?
Yes, that's of course the most important thing.
No, it's a callback because Osborne. Not for people watching. Osborne wore feety pajamas.
I don't know who that is, Paul. They don't know who that is.
No, it's just for us.
He's got
like one.
I think it's the first time that any of us would actually see how do the party sleep.
Well, I know Eidolon doesn't look any different because he sleeps in full armor. He just takes his shoes off.
God, he must stink.
I'm not wearing shoes. That is the only difference.
Marcusar would sleep, as you might imagine, maybe in just like some loose linens or something like that.
Actually,
like his under linens or whatever.
Because we're indoors, he wouldn't be wearing the armor, so it's just the blue undershirt.
Yes, it would be his blue undershirt and his trousers.
Ooh. Showing a bit more skin, aren't we?
Paul, please stop.
What would Ran and
I don't have
Wolfric be
time for
wearing?
horniness.
Wolfric is wearing essentially shorts and like a tank top, essentially. So it's essentially he barges out of his room and it's just the tats are on full. The arms and the tats are on full display.
Does he have the Love Heart boxers?
This is your chance, Ewan.
It's like not. It looks like novelty boxers you'd buy at like a or not like a hotel that sells like novelty boxers.
Yeah.
It's definitely something that him and Sophia got as an impulse purchase on a trip.
That's good.
What about Ran?
There's only one of us left.
I mean, he'd probably still sleep in just like the lowest layer of his outerwear, whatever that would be.
So it would be.
Because
Fully
obviously he's
nude.
just used to sleeping in. No, he doesn't. No.
Ranagash sleeps in the buff. Let's go.
You'd like that, wouldn't you, Paul?
Of course he would.
I mean, I guess that's the question. Is it's like, would he have shirt or no shirt? Because technically, the least clothing he can wear without his armor would just be his trousers. Because even his undershirt's part of his leathers, unless he just wears his undershirt to bed.
Maybe. I mean,
You're just saying that
in the
to
forest.
spite me. You're saying that to spite me, aren't you, Matthew?
There's a part of that in here, yes.
Paul just wants him to roll for a bulge.
No, we're not.
We're not doing that.
We're not going to those lands.
We're not doing
It's a
that.
serious campaign.
No penis sizes.
Okay. Marcusar took his weapon with him as well. He grabbed the moonsicle off the mantelpiece before he left.
That's fair.
Yeah, Wolfric has his axe.
Oh, what a great idea, Wolfric. You just stole that 'cause I said it.
Well, to be
My
fair,
fists are the weapon I need right now.
yeah, like, I feel like Wolfric probably has his weapon, Marcusar has his weapon, Rand doesn't need his weapon, and Eidolon doesn't really need it if something does go wrong. So it's kind of like the four of you are kind of ready in case something does go wrong, but I guess the initial thing of what do you guys do? Do you just head to our room?
I'd probably let Ranagash and Wolfric go first. For
Same.
obvious reasons.
Marcusar doesn't know Frida.
That is true, you've met her once.
Exactly.
I'll be shortly behind them, though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Watching her flank.
As when you get into her room, she seems to be in a relatively semi-conscious state, at least from what you can see on an initial inspection. However, her body is almost convulsing in pain. You can hear her screaming, you can see her writhing, you can see the source of where the pain is coming from, however, at least on an initial inspection, as there's no obvious signs of what is hurting her, at least when you kind of come into the room. She doesn't even seem to realise that the four of you have entered into the bedchamber.
You say there's no, like... Is there an obvious sign of where she's feeling this pain? Apart from her obvious wounds?
Apart from obviously the stuff that's been bandaged up, nope, none at all. There's no signs that anyone has entered or exited the room. The windows are closed and shuttered, as they would be. The bed linens are off of the bed, though you can assume that that is from her own turbulent movements. And she's still in her trousers and shirt, as she would be dressed for bed.
Detect magic.
Dropping a detect magic Marcusar, you notice that underneath her bandages, so all across her right hand side, almost travelling I guess like insects, worms, or even serpents, you can see magical tracks, magical trails through her veins underneath the
Kind
wounds.
of coincidental timing that Marksar asked to do that, as if there's no obvious sign of injury, what Eidolon would probably go do is step forward past Wulfric and Ranagash if they're not doing anything, pull up the shirt and taking across the bandages that are across the sort of like, it was like the chest area, aye?
Yeah, so it's her ribcage there, collarbone, and right arm.
Yeah, just for ease, pull up the bottom half of the shirt and essentially just peel back one of the bandages to see if there's anything beneath that.
You'll need to give me a strength.
How tough are these put in place?
They're not, but you're basically having to keep her in place as you're doing it.
Can I flag Wulfric for help for that?
You can do.
I know he's fucking stronger than I am.
Right.
So
Would you mind making the check for me, Ewan?
Sure.
Is it with advantage because I'm helping him or not?
It can be with advantage, yes. Obviously, this
So
isn't.
R/2d20 KH1 plus 7.
He's a strong boy.
26.
As
I think this old woman has stepped in place.
Yeah, you're obviously not doing it harshly. You're not doing it with strength. You're kind of doing it with gentle finesse and pressure as you kind of try to stop her from moving, mostly to stop her from hurting herself any further as well. As Eidolon, you are able to remove some of the bandages, and you almost watch as the injury she had sustained, though Wulfric had healed it and it looked like it was repairing itself, it's almost like the healing that Wulfric had done is almost being undone.
And that's gonna hurt.
Is like the skin that he healed, the bones that he reforged, they're almost starting to break again, starting to crack, and the skin is almost starting to, I guess, peel away and disintegrate again.
Could I try to dispel magic? If that would work.
Possibly
Choose
anything.
one creature, object, or magical effect within range. What's happening to her class as a magical effect?
I need to double check something. Because there is a stipulation on it. Okay, so I need your druid, so wisdom check.
A wisdom check. That's a
The
plus
D20 plus 4.
12.
You cannot dispel it.
Fuck.
As you attempt to,
So it's not second level or lower.
you can see the magic starting to fizzle. You can see it almost stop for a second, but then it just almost accelerates slightly after obviously being able to pass through your dispel magic.
Okay.
That's not promising.
I thought I was doing something cool, it just didn't work.
I guess gesturing for Wulfric to more just keep her in place, gesturing to both. Of course, they're not stronger than him, but gesturing for Marksar and Ranagash to come forward to hold her in place on the other side. Make sure that she's completely held in place. I'll essentially start to unwrap the bandages to see if I can see any notable remaining points of impact, I suppose. I need to see if anything's crystallized yet.
Cool.
If it's what I think it is.
So as you start to unravel her bandages, I need you to make me a medicine check.
Alright. I can't suppose cheat out a cheeky advantage because she's being held in place.
Yeah, why not? I'm feeling generous.
Thank you. You're generous, God.
Sometimes.
16, not too bad.
You are able to remove them with some finesse, especially considering, at least around the wound, they almost seem to stick and peel, but you are able to remove them. You are able to remove them without causing any further damage or unsettling her even further. For the three of you holding her down, this is very unpleasant. She doesn't, as I said, she doesn't seem to be wholly conscious for this entire experience, but her body seems responsive to this entire experience, so she can feel what's going on, she's just not conscious of it. As when you do remove them enough, you can see that essentially her arm is fought back against the splints, so the splints that the stable master had put on her arm to keep it straight, it's fought against that to twist itself back round. The ribs have rebroken, her collarbone is rebroken, and where presumably Gaerdrah's mace had struck her, you can see that the veins underneath where the skin is starting to almost dissolve like acid have turned green and start to almost glow as it starts to travel from the area of injury throughout her body. As you can start to see these wisps almost start to glow underneath her skin. For Marcusar and Eidolon, This looks very, very familiar.
How much of her body at this point, not just the ribs, would I have to remove?
Top collarbone, right arm, probably top 4 ribs.
That could kill a person.
I want to dispel magic again.
Spell
Spell
slot,
magic
spell
again!
slot.
At least after hearing that, I want to try again. Actually, I wouldn't know this information, but still.
It's more, even though you wouldn't know this is obviously Eidolon's expertise in terms of dealing with this infection. For yourself, Marcusar, the familiarity comes with what's now on your body. So again, trying to dispel magic again would, at least in a moment of panic for Marcusar to try and, I guess, help her, wouldn't be too out of the realm of possibility, as obviously he doesn't want this to happen to anyone else.
Yeah, I'd like to try again.
So give me another roll with wisdom.
Just don't roll low.
21.
That's a high roll.
It seems to stop it. The spread seems to stop, however the infection does not disappear. It just stops. You can almost see it halt in the veins as you're focusing on it, as you're concentrating on it.
Oh no, he has to concentrate to keep it still.
Well, it's instantaneous, so it's like...
Instantaneous.
It's more for the effect of as he's focusing on it, he's kind of stopping it from moving, stopping it from going anywhere. As the 4 of you are now kind of, I guess, taking a small breath of, what the fuck do we do? You can hear a voice almost projecting from behind the house. Specifically, it seems to be a call-out. Not a call-out post, just a call-out. As, in a very familiar voice, sorry. Ruining tension with memes.
I think you hit Paul a bit there.
I did, yeah.
Just imagine Gaerdrah just like calling out like Eidolon over a tweet he posted like 4 years ago.
I'm making a call-out post on my Twitter.com.
My Twitter.com.
Eidolon, you're a bitch-ass motherfucker.
Ewan, can you rewrite that entire copy pasta for me, please? I trust you the most with this.
As you can hear the voice, familiar voice, as hilariously Paul pointed out, Gaerdrah's voice, coming from not far from, I guess, the edge of Mire and from Frida's backyard. As you just kind of hear him almost talking as he's pacing. Come out, whatever you are, coward. Don't keep me waiting.
I'd turn up to Ranagash, knowing that there's not much time here, but still, his opinion needs to be kept here. What do you want to do with her?
Will she live?
If you call that living.
Marcusar, can you keep whatever you're doing up?
Sorry, I'll keep what I was doing. What I said there was out of character.
No, I was aware of that. Yeah, so I'll just turn to Marcusar. Can you keep whatever you're doing up?
I'll try.
We'd have to remove... Was it the left arm, you say?
Right hand side, I think.
More just taking his hand and placing it against the essentially the entire top right portion of her body, and then just running his hand along the arm before just sighing. All of that would have to go. And it's not a guarantee that even after that she'd be able to survive. I'd maybe even have to remove a few organs. The alternative, of course, would be as he'd more just let that trail off there. You can't get rid of it unless you get rid of it.
You're telling me she either dies or she maybe dies.
Yeah. Even if Marcusar stopped it spreading, it's still in the areas that it's in. And if it's in the areas it's in, there's no guarantee that after a while it won't revitalize itself and continue moving again. There's not a cure. There's just preventative measures. It doesn't move through blood, it moves through organic tissue.
How good are you at medicine, surgery, whatever?
Yes,
I've carved up a few bodies in my time. I just...
Carved in what?
In the exact way you'd hope for, I'd suppose. This wouldn't be the first time I've done something like this, but the problem is I don't have any equipment.
What about the stable master? Would anything he have help?
I take it you've seen a butcher's cleaver before? That'd be the closest I could get.
What about a big old axe? The Wolfric
Did you actually say that? In like an out of character sense, that might work, but there's also the chance that would carve through too much and lead to extreme internal and external bleeding.
There's kind of
you need a happy medium of chop a lot but can be precise.
There's a fine line of
essentially like a butcher's cleaver works.
You need something sharp enough, but you also need something small enough that it's not just gonna
cleaver in two.
Ironically, we need a cleaver.
Yeah. As you're having this conversation, obviously taking it in for a moment, Marksar, you can feel your dispel magic starting to fade.
Need to act fast, guys.
Is it already slipping?
As you can just hear from, I guess, outside the window. I said not to keep me waiting, Eidolon.
Ranagash, it's now or never. I have my sword. Actually, Wolfric.
Aye.
Can you grab my sword real quick?
Right.
I might need it.
I go and grab his sword for him.
Sorry for making you the busy boy there, Yun.
It's fine.
We're all kind of busy right now. I will also be dropping like the biggest cure wounds on her once this happens.
Listen, Ran, the best I can leave you with is leaving you with my sword to do it if you need to. Or leaving it with Marksar. He might be better at it than you are. And me and Wolfric can go deal with this.
Can't do that. I can't do that. No, I don't have the hands for it, and I don't have the will for it.
But do you want it done?
I don't have a choice, do I?
Marksar, you've healed a few wounds in the past. Ever used tools for it?
Have I? If it serves me right, like I was leader of the Green Hand, but I wasn't like the dedicated like healer. Like we had like people for that.
You will have done some healing, like minor healing. You were kind of proficient in all fields, but that was left specifically to your healers. Like you will have been able to heal nicks and scrapes. When it comes to removing limbs or what to do after a limb has been removed in order to heal, like actually heal the wound, even with magic, that wasn't something.
Back from the dead.
That wasn't what you did. That's what she did.
Not personally, but I've seen people do it. People of my faith.
I'd hand him over my obsidian sword.
Oh shit! You let me do this?
Don't worry, it's rock, not metal.
Oh, that's actually very good. I didn't think about that.
Obsidian's essentially glass. It's not any metal.
Yeah.
I do have a +4 to medicine, so
just don't break it and don't break her.
I'll try.
As I'd essentially, before I leave, just sort of like rifle through my pack, just take out a bit of chalk and essentially just draw a small incision line of how much he needs to cut out. Yeah, like the line is thin, but it's a long line.
Yeah.
Wolfric.
Aye.
We got a bastard to kill.
Oh shit.
I'll put my armor on.
You don't want to fight him in your nightwear.
What's more intimidating? Wolfric in full plate, or Wolfric wearing basically nothing? I know which one I'm more terrified of. Running.
Me and Wolfric will have that.
Are you sure?
Don't have a choice.
I want to make the incision.
Cool. Give me a medicine, and then I'll describe what Eidolon and Wolfric see as they leave the garden.
Paul.
Can I have any form of advantage? Please, pretty please.
I feel like you have advantage already, but it's taking away from that because you've never used this before. That's a good roll, Paul. It's gonna be gory, however you do it, though.
As Paul, you begin the process, you begin the operation. As for Wolfric and Eidolon, as you exit into the house and head into the garden, the sight you are met with is, I guess, something else.
The max I'll do before I head out, I'm not going to sling on my armor because there's no time. I'm literally just going to sling my scarf around my neck. That's all I'm going to do.
Yeah, your armor's
a bit chilly.
Like, you have armor that has buckles. Wolfric has a chain shirt that just goes over his head.
Hence, I'm just throwing the scarf on.
As the sight that you see when you do go out there is the night is pretty dark, darker than it probably should be. There is a mist that seems to cling to the garden floor and emanate from Kinreen, where Gaerdrah seems to be standing at the kind of folds of the mist, so where it starts to break the tree line, where I guess you'd expect a projection, he's actually standing there. For yourself, Wulfric, I guess this is a bit different than what you'd imagine him to look like. In every projection you have seen him, he has been a full elf. He's been quite a broad-shouldered figure, quite a tall figure, holds himself in some high regard. When you actually see him, he's maybe a foot taller than Eidolon, so he still has the height, he still has a little bit of the broad-shouldered, but other than that, the two of them don't look very different from one another. There's a good chance Gaerdrah isn't even a full elf, he's probably a half-elf. Most of his features are humanoid, and as a result, yeah, he doesn't look much different than Eidolon.
Gaerdrah, is it?
And you are Wulfric, but I didn't ask for you, did I? So be a good boy and hush.
You're shorter than I expected.
And you're stupider than I expected. I told you to shut up! Speak again, I'll kill his mother.
Marcus hears that and starts cutting faster.
I expected you to run for at least a few more weeks.
You expected me to run after you called me out like that?
It's all you've ever done.
So what? I'm here now.
And all you've done now is run straight into another situation that you don't exactly have a grasp on. What are you here to do?
Show you what happens if you call me out.
And you gain?
Another chance to experiment. Another chance to see you fail to be the hero you think you are.
In what twisted reality have you formed to yourself that you think that that's what I'm here to do?
Isn't that what you're always here to do? You are the knight in shining armour, you are the hero of the wall. The one that is so honour bound and proud that whenever you step up to the plate, so many people die.
Whatever world you've been able to create in your head there must sure be lovely for you. Now get your fantasies over, and if you want to kill me, then try do it now.
He kind of laughs and takes a few steps. He kind of turns away, not from you, but more looks off into the distance, and can the two of you give me a perception check? As well as Ranagash and Marcusar. You guys will also need to give me this.
97.
It's one lower than your
14.
passive, Matthew. 14. Cool.
Hey, you and Paul, not bad.
Obviously, Ranagash, you're a little bit distracted with other things. This isn't important. For the other three boys, not Gaerdrah speaking, but you can almost hear another voice on the wind. You're not too sure where it's coming from, but it feels like it's close at the same time, feeling like it's moving around miles from you. As he almost addresses something else in response to this voice that the three of you can hear, as whilst Gaerdrah doesn't seem interested in you, Wulfric, this voice certainly does. As on the wind you can just hear it. I thought I had them all. I'm supposed to have them all. Why can't I have this one? As Gaerdrah turns to it. You can have patience. That is something we will deal with later. Right now I am busy. Continue. My apologies. You wanted me to attack, you wanted me to kill you here, Eidolon. In this town? Where's the spectacle in that?
You certainly seem bound to create one, more just gesturing to the mist. And it seems you've already got yourself an audience.
You call that, points to Wulfric, an audience?
No, I meant whatever you're talking to.
Oh.
Whatever you've brought along to watch with you.
Watch is an interesting word, but they are not here to watch, they are here to work, as am I.
When Gaerdrah gestured at Wulfric, because he told him not to speak, Wulfric's malicious compliance is he just flips him off.
How fitting.
You will probably have to temper that attitude for the next time we meet, my friend. Who knows, someone you care about might get hurt. No, Eidolon, you're not going to die here. But
I never intended to. I more thought this could be a good time to let you die here, as Eidolon would start taking a step forward.
But this is a chance for, I guess, your friends to perhaps see what happens if they continue to get involved. See what happens when they get to play the hero alongside you and the innocents again get to stay in the ground.
Where you put them.
I have not raised a finger.
No, but you raised a hand carrying a mace.
Perhaps just like you then, they should learn their place. Perhaps then people wouldn't get hurt. Perhaps then the pain would stop.
The pain wouldn't need to have to stop if you didn't keep inflicting it upon people.
People are so much more useful when you have something they want.
It would be a very quick instance, but it would be like essentially like a worried side eye towards Wulfric.
Wulfric will reciprocate it. And Wulfric's, I'm currently going through something of, Wulfric wants to say something, but out of character, I know that pissing this guy off isn't a good idea, but I feel like it's something that Wulfric might be prompted to say just to, number one, piss him off, and number two, based on everything he's learned about Gaerdrah from his actions and what Eidolon's told him.
If you want to say it, you can say it. Nothing stops you. Just be careful.
I think he'll stay quiet for now.
I very rarely get to play this type of villain. It's fun.
And what, murdering crowds of people isn't enough to manipulate more? You keep having to do this to more and more. What do you get from it? Why do it in the first place?
What do I get? I get useful pawns that do what I say. What?
Since when did you need pawns?
See, I can't do everything, Eidolon. Unlike your perceptions. I have inabilities, I have flaws. And I need people to do things I can't. People are a lot more persuasive when you have something that is a lot more important to them. See, if you hurt a village, if you kill a village, then you strike fear. But that doesn't mean that people are going to do what you say. No, that usually leads them to fight back. However, if you take one person, a mother, perhaps, then it becomes a lot more easier to persuade someone to see your line of reasoning. Because put it that way.
What is your line of reasoning? What do you want here? I don't mean here as this town. What do you want? Why build an army of slaves? Why kill the ones who disobey?
Because I no longer need them. What I want is you dead. However, now is not the time. Now is not the place.
So why did you do it when it was the time?
Because you were supposed to stay dead. You weren't supposed to come back. You were supposed to stay in that pit with the rest of them and rot.
I had a lot more just still in a sense of, like, not understanding, more just like, I guess, takes another step forward. That's not what I'm asking. You're missing the point. You're avoiding it. Why kill me in the first place?
If I didn't, someone else would have.
Then why did it need to be you? We're friends, goddammit. That mean anything?
Perhaps once.
Then what fucking changed?
Every day. When you stood taller than me. When you did more than me. When you got more than me.
Eidolon more slowly starting to steadily walk forward at this point. I didn't ask for that. None of that I stole from you. None of that I stole from anyone else.
None of that you deserved. And you got it anyway.
And what you felt you were due that. Is that it? Is that why you murdered tens, hundreds of innocent people at this point?
Don't pretend like you care about them.
If I don't care, who's going to?
They care. As he gestures back to Wulfric in the house. You don't care about the people I've killed. You care about the one. Actually, the two people I've killed, should I correct myself. You don't care about everyone else. You're just here because I ruined your life. You don't care about everyone else.
You don't know me as well as I don't know you.
As the voice kind of creeps in the background again. I want him. And I want him now. I have done what you asked, I now want him. As Gaerdrah almost raises a hand to you, Eidolon, just kind of like the hush silence now. And you just hear it's like, patience, my pet, you will get him eventually, now is not the time. If you have done what I've asked, come and meet me. My conversation is ending. As he kind of turns back to you and just smirks. Perhaps we didn't know each other as well as we should have.
No, because if I knew who you really were, you would have been dead in the ground after our first fight.
And then how chivalric would you have been? How much honour would you have had?
More than the man who intends to kill an entire village. And he'll probably run away before it's even done.
Well, I'm a little bit preoccupied at the moment. I merely came to say hello and let your friends in on what happens when they get too close to you. Because after all, when anyone gets close to you, Eidolon, they die. Whether it's
What does
by...
that say for you?
I'm still waiting.
Temptation just to ask him to make a dex save is just far too fucking tempting at this point. In terms of that voice that we heard, at least just through, I guess, passive, but more just actively also listening, looking around, listening, is that at all perceivable?
The two of you can give me a perception check now. Wulfric and Eidolon.
It's slightly lower.
Thankfully the DC for this isn't too high, considering it is pretty big.
That's not good.
From the mists in Kinreen, the kind of black mist that seems to surround the rest of the town, coming towards the garden, coming towards the forest edge, the first reason you notice it as you hear the corner of a building collapse.
Oh, fun.
As making its way around, almost serpentine-like moving its way around, is, I guess, a familiar sight to Wulfric, though perhaps only in flashes now that you're seeing its full body, is a huge, almost titanous, perhaps once upon a time a white dragon, though now its scales are tarnished almost a steel colour, infected with purple and green markings, its body completely broken and contorted with its ligaments melded with that of other creatures. A draconic figure that comes round and stands behind Gaerdrah. You see the dragon that perhaps has been plaguing your band for now quite some time, as this monstrous, aberrant creature stands by Gaerdrah, almost coils round him ever so slightly, and just lies down next to him. As he kind of takes a few steps, almost, I guess, keeping a side eye on the two of you, as he starts to climb it, though not climbing its back, not climbing its side over its wing. When he does so, he climbs up its head, letting his foot go into the side of its jaw, into the cracks in its jawline, and just climbing up its head, and the dragon does nothing. It just lies there. As he stands on the top of its head and looks back towards the two of you. You know, it is rather disappointing that Ranagash didn't come down to see me. Could have perhaps helped his situation. Even just a little. Though, in saying that, it was nice to, I guess, see what Wulfric Reinbrand actually looks like. You're not as impressive as people claim you to be.
Savage.
Though, my pet still wants you. But now is not the right time. Now, I must leave you, gentlemen, and leave you with my friends, as I have somewhere to be. As there's a small town, not too far from the Gildenfeld, that is currently aiding me in some of my experiments. You know, I can't keep anyone waiting, can I, Eidolon?
Wulfric's just staring up at Gaerdrah.
As he climbs onto the back of his drake, onto the back of his dragon, onto the back of this monstrosity.
There'll come a time when running isn't an option anymore for you.
And when that day comes, you will be on your knees, broken and splintered.
Not before you're dead in front of me. Damn to all my own health.
As I need the two of you to make me a dex save.
Do I have your charisma bonus on this, Yon?
Yes.
Yes, you do.
What's your charisma bonus? +4.
+4.
Okay, yes.
Good.
Oh, fucking bad. Fuck deck saves, homie.
Oh, there's pish damage. 4, 7. The two of you only take 3 damage.
I take no damage because I have evasion.
Wolfric, you'll actually only take A damage because you did put your armor on and you have resistance.
He still takes a damage.
A damage.
Doesn't.
As the dragon, just before it takes flight, before it disappears with Gaerdrah on its back, it seems to breathe almost a partially congealed acidic substance that the two of you are able to avoid quite deftly, though as it starts to pull on the ground, you watch as some of the rocks, some of the grass, as it starts to burn away, starts to almost grow like almost like a calcification that turns into a crystal that starts to hum.
Also, am I okay to say that I took no damage from that because of evasion?
Yeah.
Humming crystal doesn't sound good.
It doesn't
No,
sound
it really fucking doesn't, does it?
But before we get to the humming crystal, we get to jump back to Paul.
Oh boy!
As obviously during this encounter you guys will have at least been able to hear Gaerdrah's projected part of the conversation to some degree, especially when he got angry with Eidolon. But Marksar, you are focusing on other things. As the incisions have started to go well, you've obviously not tried to speed up as much as you can because that would be dangerous. But I do need another medicine check from you. It's not great. As I guess the bigger areas are a lot easier than the smaller areas. Similarly, kind of getting towards the tail end of the conversation, getting towards the tail end of the operation, it almost seems that the infection starts to speed up again. Perhaps arriving with the tail end of the dragon kind of appearing for Wolfric and Eidolon, as I need Ranagash and Marksar, I need you to make me a constitution saving throw. As you're making these incisions, as you're cutting away, trying to remove as much as you can, the wound itself... the wound itself almost starts to seep a rather potent, almost caustic, as it goes up your nostrils, black mist that seems to leak into the room. Where I need to roll some damage. 1, 2, for Ranagash. And you take 14 poison damage and are now considered to be poisoned. Marksar, you are able to kind of, I guess, hold in your breath and keep going. So you are no longer poisoned, which is a good thing because I need you to make me another medicine check.
It's getting worse.
Yeah, we're going
going
down the ladder. It's starting to get a bit choppy, it's starting to get a bit dicey, and I need you to make me one more.
Russian.
Oh god, why do you make me keep making rolls?
Because I need another one.
19.
That one's better, that one's good. As you are able to remove the majority of it, you are able to remove as much as you can. You think you've gotten it all. It's not the easiest job in the world, nor is it the nicest job in the world, and nor is it something you've done before, but you are able to at least cut away the infected skin, you are able to remove the limbs that need removing, and you are able to at least remove a lot of the broken bone, where now it's the, I guess, healing portion of it is, I think this is the reddest you've perhaps ever been in a very long time, considering blood is not usually something you deal with.
Yes, but that's the operation complete, yes?
As far as you're aware, you would probably need Eidolon to double check.
Marks are over here playing fucking Surgeon Simulator.
I have a couple of things I wish to do. I wish to cure wounds on Frida first.
Okay.
What level?
Well, she's just a person, right? So I don't necessarily have to waste a huge one, right?
Nah, probably our first one would do.
Okay.
Upcasting is mainly for the
party
players
benefit.
for bigger health.
I'm up 3 plus a d4. Do that. She regains 9 hit points.
Cool.
Oh, that's pretty good.
You are able to see your magic start to seal up the wound, start to knit it. The deformation is pretty evident, as obviously it doesn't have ribs to graft onto, and obviously missing a right-hand side arm. But the healing itself does seem to stitch it back together, where it is a more, I guess, nicer image.
I would also like to put my hand on Radagash's shoulder and give him protection from poison.
I'm pretty sure that neutralizes it as well.
It does indeed.
If it is poison, you neutralize the poison. If more than one person afflicts the target, you neutralize the one poison that you know is present, or you neutralize one at random.
Yeah.
Protection from poison is actually a lot better than a lot of people give it credit for.
It's because a lot of people forget that it neutralizes as well. A lot of people just assume it's like from now you are protected from poison, whereas it affects the poison that is affecting you at the moment, which means Ranagash, you are no longer poisoned, and you have protection from poison. So you have
For the duration, the target has advantage. Yeah.
Yeah, advantage on saving throws against being poisoned, and you have resistance to poison damage.
I'm going to tell Radagash she should be stable, but you should help her get rebandaged. I'm going to check on Wolfric and Eidolon, and I'll leave the room. And go to Radagash's room. Well, actually, I might have to go to my room first. Yeah.
Cool, you head to your room.
I grab the crystal that Gaerdrah gave me, and I go to Radagash's room. Can I stealth this so he doesn't really hear me go to his room?
Give me stealth, Ran, give me perception. You no longer have disadvantage because you're no longer poisoned. 0! You rolled a
Character, what I'm doing.
Wait, did I roll? Yeah, I did roll the d20 plus 1.
You don't even need to roll, Paul. You rolled a 0.
I was confused to why you rolled a 0, and then I remembered what your perception mod is. You are way too distracted to even
two
care.
Two ones in a row. That's so unfortunate.
What are you doing, Paul? As you get into Ran's room?
I'm looking for somewhere to store this crystal that would be on his person, like his clothes. Like he already said, he's not wearing much. He's only wearing like his pajamas, right? Mm-hmm. So I would put it in his bag.
You'll have his satchel, or you'll have his leathers.
Well, his satchel is where he keeps all his stones, correct?
All of his rune stones, yeah. It's
Probably
also
the worst place to put it.
It's also where he keeps Sin Maya.
Yeah, that's not a great place to have it, because that's the one bag that he rifles through often. In his leathers, is there anything like, a strap or a fold in the leather that I could maybe tuck it into?
There will be a few, because whilst they're good quality leathers, they're not like a leather workings leathers. It's more patchwork armor to that point where it's different parts that he puts on. That is obviously made out of different hides and different leathers. So even like the kind of more shoulder pieces that he wears, you have the layers underneath where the leather kind of protects and pads his shoulder. You can even stick it in there.
That seems good. I'm trying to think of an area that has like the least sort of movement. Because say it was like there, you might like, oh shit, there's something in my armpit, whatever. So like maybe up on the shoulder, in the padding there might be the best place to stick it.
Give me sleight of hand.
Oh, I'm actually good at these.
As you are able to hide it in the kind of corner pieces in one of his more shoulder pieces or pauldrons of his armor. As you go down then and obviously see to Wolfric and Eidolon.
I just to keep them up to, well, I'll just RP it. We managed to remove the infection. She's stable. But
assuming you have my sword on you right now.
Yeah, let's assume that I took the sword.
As when you come out to obviously let the boys know about this, RP your moment of
head to toe in blood.
A moment of breath, a moment of reprieve as you let the two of them know that she's stable. That is for you when you see this calcified crystal starting to hum in the background. And we will cut to break there for a moment. As coming back, interesting things are going to be occurring. We will see you all soon.
Gungan and Gungan.
I need to move Matthew's numbers over because they're out of form and it's going to bug me for the whole session if I don't do that as we come back from break. And I will get to the session once the numbers are moved. Because then they're not going to bug me. Well, they'll bug me less.
I'm gonna gesture this because I can't do much else.
You're just like the person on Countdown. It's like, give me a constant. Give me a vowel.
Riley.
Ooh.
Rachel
Okay,
Riley,
so-
that's her name.
Give me 5.
Yo, wait, Matthew is Rachel Riley.
Paul, stop it.
Have you seen Rachel Riley?
Yeah, but I don't want to picture Matthew like that.
Oh, Photoshop
Fucking
job?
Okay, so I was trying to think of what the Twisted Fates group would be as the 7 deadly sins, and we've
There's
already
not 7 of
determined
us.
that Paul is lust.
There's
I am
not 7
lost.
of us!
I am lust, envy,
What are you envious of?
a lot of things.
Oh,
Mostly
that got dark.
envy of people in their happier lives.
God, that got
I'll fucking
What's
shut up.
I can't remember. I'm a bit of a sloth. Actually, not so much. I do get up early now. Which
See,
one is Ewan?
like-
I think it's
Ewan's a bit of pride.
Ewan's a bit of pride.
Yeah.
I'm a man defined by his own hubris.
I don't actually know what the deadly sins are.
Lust, gluttony, envy, wrath, pride, sloth, greed.
Craig is wrath. I feel like he wants to kill any of us at any opportunity. Actually,
How
maybe
am I wrath?
Matthew could be wrath.
See, I feel Matthew.
Yeah, 'cause Matthew wants us
Matthew is
dead.
more wrath because even though he's not traditionally wrathful, he is usually against everything else that us idiots do, which puts him in the position of wrath. See, like, I don't think I'm sloth because even though I get up late and I sleep a lot, like, the time that I'm awake, I am super productive. But I'd probably say I'm gluttony because I do indulge in food, but I also indulge in everything else. Like, I like to make sure I always have stuff to do and I always need stuff to do. So I feel like I'm kind of gluttony in that way.
According to the Wikipedia, gluttony is the overindulgence and overconsumption of anything to the point of waste.
It's not like, so it's like I will continuously keep trying to do stuff even if it's at the detriment of my own health. So like if I need to get something done, I will keep doing it until it's done rather than taking the time and not doing it.
And my pride thing is it's like a pendulum swing. It's either I'm the worst thing to have ever been created, or I am a god among men.
I've done that before. So what's Craig then?
I feel that, Ewan.
So what are we left with?
Well, I mean, if I'm happy with pride because that just means I'm Escanor.
So if Ewan's pride, I'm
He is the
gluttony,
coolest. He is the coolest.
Matthew's wrath, Paul's lust. That leaves us with greed, sloth, and envy. I'd probably say Craig's envy.
What's he envious of?
His self-doubt makes him think that everyone else is better than him.
Envy, like greed and lust, is characterized by an insatiable desire. It can be described as a sad or resentful, covetous covetousness towards the traits or possessions of someone else. Is an insatiable desire towards traits or possessions.
Other
of
people
someone
get to be
else.
happy.
Yeah, it's the other
People don't have mental conditions.
Other people
Yeah.
can do the things he wants to and do it better. Air quotes.
That seems like so evil to be like, I wish I had an okay brain chemistry like all my friends. Like, wow, envy much?
I wish to
No,
be.
like envy for me is
did you get
more the fact that I
condemned to
doubt
hell?
myself in everything.
Yeah.
How did you get condemned to hell? Oh, I had ADHD and depression, and my friends didn't, and that's why I'm here.
Yeah. I say that Craig's envy is more based on his self-doubt. Is the fact that like there is always someone better to do the job rather than him. So it's like it's not putting yourself, whereas you're just fucking horny. So lust.
You see, a lot of my pridefulness isn't even like legitimate pride. It's like you know how like there are people who are prideful in the sense that they're arrogant, where they have no reason to believe that they're better than people, but they do.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm better than people. I just have compared
You're better than
myself.
people.
I just have compared myself to certain people, and I'm like, I'm doing fucking great. Like there are some people. Like, there are some situations that I walk into and I'm like, I'm not doing spectacular, but compared to certain situations, I'm doing fucking great.
Hence, your pride is a pendulum.
Yeah, it's
oh no, go ahead.
It's kind of what helps me break funks a lot. Like if I'm ever in like a funk, I'm not in one for very long.
I tend to have highs for a long time and then lows also for a long time.
Yeah.
You know, Luffs is the worst one. When you go to the Wikipedia article, is the first one that comes up.
Yeah. As coming back to D&D, as I will have likely cut out our tangent number 3, possibly this session. I think it's 3 or 4.
Great tangent.
Paul's found some new material, so
That's a terrible.
It goes in the bank.
just remove all context and leave it at that. As coming back to D&D, coming back to my boys, Radagash, you're obviously upstairs tending to your mother, making sure she's alright. For my 3 boys outside, you guys are with the kind of calcified crystal that is now appearing in the back garden, where as it starts to continue producing this almost vibration in the back of your head that starts to almost make you spin, almost blur your vision slightly as it starts to get to you. You can see that the infection, this caustic acid that the dragon left behind, seems to seep out, spreading further into the garden and almost creating a wall of mist that starts to almost shimmer underneath it, as from this shimmering film between the, I guess, wisps of black mist, people start to appear, seemingly from nowhere. Commoners, most likely, at least that's what they look like in terms of some of their garbs, their faces unrecognisable. However, each one carries this almost plague, this blighted infection that is now becoming all too familiar. At least to the 3 of you who can see it, the one is missing. As what I need the 4 of you to do for me, is I need you guys to roll me initiative.
Oh boy.
As 5 of these infected individuals seem to creep forth, come through the portal, as it were. Matthew 11. Paul, did you roll a 20?
No. What?
Why is my roll 20 like? Please work.
What?
Who has rolled for initiative and who hasn't? My roll 20 is fucked up for a second.
Roll
I have rolled.
for initiative.
I did roll a 20.
Let's go! I got
Yeah,
that
so
natural 20.
that's fine. My roll 20 took a minute to catch up on my screen. I think it's fine on the OBS though, but I'll find out when I have a look at the recording. You
Impressive. Getting that natural 20.
Nope. I lied to myself.
I hit 3 and they annoyed Paul every single time.
Yeah.
Are we getting attacked by fucking plague zombies?
Yes.
This is a flood. This is the flood from fuck.
I get inspired by a lot of things when I write my characters.
Is it the flood? Was the flood one of them?
Yeah.
Fuck you.
I'm a big fan of the flood.
Fuck you.
I'm a big fan.
I hate the flood levels. They freak me out.
Halo 3 has the best ones though.
Halo 3
That's
does have
right.
the best flood levels. Are you drinking an entire carton of orange juice right now? That's a
an
lot
innocent
of orange juice.
I have apple juice. in
I'm
the
not
fridge.
gonna drink it all. It'll go in the fridge like when I'm about halfway.
Okay.
For
I'm
top
not
of
insane,
initiative,
Ewan. I'm just mentally deranged.
I'm gonna take a
Well,
bit of paper so that I can actually track this more properly. As for top of initiative, for now, it is Ewan, surprisingly.
let's fucking go. Hang on, didn't Eidolon roll 22?
Yeah, but you
Yeah,
got
rolled
nat
nat
20.
20.
Based.
Nat
I thought
20
it was
comes-
just number 2.
Nat 20's come above.
It's like even if you've got like a plus 10 to your initiative, if you roll a nat 1, you're still going last.
Alright.
Some GMs do it differently, but I like actually implementing nat 20s and nat 1s into initiative. as there are 5 of these blighted humanoids. They don't seem to be very well equipped, though the infection seems to have set in for quite some time, giving them more animalistic, natural weapons over actually wielding weaponry, as they kind of shamble out and shamble towards you guys and towards the town.
Right, I'm gonna run up to the closest one.
Mm-hmm.
To attack. Does that hit?
That'll hit. These things are not very difficult to hit.
Reroll that one. So that's 10.
Cool. It is still up.
Second attack.
It's not looking great as you kind of cut into it. That will also hit, almost severing some of its ligaments, some of its limbs.
Is your weapon currently a greatsword right now, Ewan?
Why am I rolling 2d6? Never mind. Oh. Sorry, I'm playing a character with a greatsword on another game, so my brain defaults to 2d6. Ignore that, I can reroll damage with 1d12.
Yeah, please. Well, 2d12 now, but...
You can reroll that.
It's what now? Alright, yeah, I can reroll that as well. So...
6, 10.
We'll take that 10 the first time, and this is a 6. Next time I'll remember it's 1d12.
12? So the first one is dead.
Hell yeah.
Let's go.
Well, dead.
Big gamer.
Bonus action, Shield of Faith. That's a bonus action, right? Just make
Yeah. Shield of Faith be a bonus action. It's concentration, but that's not a problem.
I love Shield of Faith. It's not a problem if I'm not getting hit.
As Eidolon.
Are they all within at least... If I step forward, would they all be within 10 feet of me? If I step towards Crystal?
Yes, but so would Wolfric.
I can choose who I target. I don't need to...
I know, I
don't need to hit Wolfric if I don't want to.
I'm doing the map for AoEs.
I'll essentially step forward. Marcus, actually, firstly, turn back, outstretch my hand. Marcusar, my sword.
I chuck it to him. No, I don't. I hand it to him.
I mean, if he chucked it, he could
Reaction
catch it. He's a
deflect
monk.
missiles, throw it at someone.
Yo,
Actually,
you want to do that?
yeah, fucking do it. I can throw it at someone.
sword.
I can throw it at someone.
I mean, yes. You have,
God.
yes, you have the key points for that.
Throwing it. A reaction. Firstly, do I need to roll the damage down, or are we just aestheticizing that as me catching it?
We'll aestheticize it as you catching it. He's not throwing it at it to damage you.
As part of the same reaction, I'll expend a key point and make a ranged attack with my sword.
That means you get an extra attack, because this is your reaction. No.
I have 3 attacks and a bonus action this turn.
Eidolon's effective,
Alright.
as Paul found out.
Does a 12 hit one of them?
Yes. AC 12.
As firstly. So it's 16 damage.
1 down.
Essentially, Marcus throws it, I catch the sword, and literally I catch it more so the handle, essentially the sword comes flying through, catch it, and then just carrying the velocity forward, chuck it like a javelin into the head of one of them.
Nice.
I love that.
As I'll run forward to it, bonus action, I'll take my left hand as I'm dragging the sword, ripping it out of it, plunge the hand into the ground. Can all of them make dex saves? I'm also targeting the 2 that are on the ground so that they die from the force damage.
Cool, so they will fail. The others is a 17, a 17, and a 14.
So 2 of them don't take any damage, but 1 of them does.
Cool, so that will remove those.
The one that failed takes 14 force damage.
Cool, that one's down as well. And that won't come back. 2 left.
Alright, I still have 2 attacks.
Am I gonna do anything before I think it's my turn?
I'll leave 1 for you, Paul, don't worry.
No, it's fine. Do what needs must.
No, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try put 1 down with my sword and then punch it so make sure it stays dead.
Well, I had an idea for a thing to do, but I don't think it's gonna be needed.
So I'll make an attack with my sword against, essentially I'll just move forward with my sword now, trying to cleave into the closest one to me. Just a simple slash, trying to cut it in half. 19 to hit.
That'll hit. I don't know why I needed to think about that. I told you what it was.
17.
Yep.
17 slashing damage.
Dead. Well, dead.
More just with the fist, just kind of like not collapsing to the ground, but almost like a slight splits for a second is just slamming the fist into its skull. Do I need to roll to hit that? Or
Yes, but with advantage.
I start throwing the sword, Marksar. 18.
Hit.
And just damage for fun. I know it's dead already. Let's go. 8 damage.
1 left.
Alright.
As
me.
Marksar.
Okay. I have a dilemma on my hands.
What were you gonna do, Paul?
I was gonna cast Plant Growth and slow them all down so you guys could pick them off easy, but nope, wasn't required.
I mean, they still got picked off easily, if that helps.
Yeah. Okay, I would like to. I don't know if this works.
What is it?
What was my stipulation with Gaerdrah? I couldn't do anything to harm his minions, right?
You
can
can't.
help us not harm him.
You can't do anything that would directly interfere with what he's doing, but you can help the boys.
Okay.
So, for example, in this situation, taking Ewan's hypothetically, you would be able to slow the blights down, you would be able to help the boys, but you wouldn't be able to hurt the crystal.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll just go for killing the fucking lighted thing. I can still do that, right?
Yeah. Essentially, it's kind of a loose set of rules. You don't know how much you're tied with. For example, you could kill these blighted creatures and then he could come back and bite your ass for it. But at least in terms of obviousness, in terms of actually interfering with what he's doing, the blighted creatures, these zombified humanoids, are more likely just part of it. It seems like the main aspect of it is probably this crystal that he's left behind. So that'll be likely the thing that you're not to interfere with, whereas as long as the waves keep coming.
I guess I will just attack the last one with my sickle.
Cool. Give me an attack roll.
18.
That'll hit.
Cool.
First time I feel like I've ever said that from Arkansas.
And I haven't attacked with them in a while. I forget how much damage the sickle does. D4 plus 2 written down.
Yeah.
Would that have changed because his dex has gone up? And top of the fact it's a +1 magic weapon?
+1 to dex.
He's only got a +1 to dex. It's a... Sickle's not a finesse weapon. Give me 2 seconds.
It is?
Is it?
It's been so long I've forgotten. I want to make sure
I know, it's like...
sheet in the interim.
No, sickle's only a light weapon, Craig.
Fuck, sorry Paul, you have to use your strength.
So it's strength plus
plus
strength +1, yeah. So it's 2.
It's still
So
+2 for
you
both
were
of them.
right.
I have +1 to dex and strength.
Confusing me, Craig.
Excuse my fucking self.
5 damage.
Whole 5 damage. Well done. Proud of you. Can you do anything else?
Can I attack it again with my bonus action?
It is light.
Without proficiency bonus.
That's still a +3. 17.
That'll hit.
Cool. Another 6 damage.
Cool. It is dead, though, given the nature of these creatures, you know it won't be completely dead.
And there's no more enemies around.
Nope. Well, not that you can see.
Okay. I guess what you would see is me, like, very hesitantly, like, attacking, like, like, I'm not sure I'm supposed to be doing this or not. And then, like,
I have
backhand
a
with
rough
the
idea
same
of why
signal.
he's doing that.
As I need the 3 of you to make me Constitution saving throws.
Do we get Wolfric's?
Yes, you get my +4.
As long as you're chilling by
So-
Wolfric, you get his +4.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. None in that to 20.
Okay. So it's half, because it's just an expulsion. So 1, 2, 3. Where's my other one? There it is. Craig, you'll take half. 8, 12.
It's not dex, so.
Wolfric, you take also half, so that's 16 halved. Wolfric, yes, Wolfric, Eidolon, you take 8 damage. Marketer, you take 16 damage, sorry. As the
What
crystal...
type of damage is this?
Necrotic.
Wolfric.
As the three of you watch as this crystal seems to almost emit a pulse wave. You watch as this almost transparent shimmer behind the mist kind of almost ripples as it does so, and you see 5 more bodies move out from behind the mist.
Okay, I gotta destroy the crystal in that case.
As for Ranagash, why did I do that? I didn't need that. It's now Matthew's go. As
Okay, let me just
take a breath.
let me make a roll. Let me make a roll, then I'll tell you what's going on. Just a straight wisdom. Okay, that's actually a good wisdom. So, let's paint a word picture. So for the entirety of that surgery, Ran would have been sitting in a goddamn corner, knees curled up to his chest, just staring into middle distance and just quietly sobbing. After this is left, after Marcusor is left and not whatever's going on, he would have managed to just steel himself just a bit, to just stand up and just walk over to the bedside. Maybe not even look down, but just still full, you know, going at it. And that's all he's doing. That is my turn.
Oh shit.
That's a fair turn. This is a lot for him to compute right now.
How the hell would he be able to conjure up anything?
Yeah. As obviously you will be able to hear the commotion that's, I guess, going on outside, but that is neither here nor there at the moment. He is very much in his own world, trapped in his own headspace. Because at this point, why wouldn't you be? As dealing with the shit outside, emerging once more through this portal of sorts, we have Ewan.
Let's go.
5 more of these creatures, and there's still the one on the ground that might come back. As well, you know that Marcusor can't really kill them properly as well. So technically 6.
I'm gonna turn around and I'm gonna start mollywopping the fucking crystal.
Blink. Ah, where's my math? That will hit.
Holy fuck!
Okay. I need to take a note of this. I also need you to make me
What's that
a
2? There's a 1 and a 2 in there.
dexterity saving throw as well after that attack, Ewan.
Alright.
You're fine.
Oh.
You will take
Second attack.
half and then half.
Second attack was a 21.
Yeah, that will hit, so roll me some damage. And then I'll tell you how much damage you take from this little burst. Perfect. So
Can you divine smite of rock?
half would be 4. You take
Got it,
a
got it,
point of
save
damage.
8 points of damage.
As when you do hit it, it almost... This mini burst seems to explode from it as you kind of take a little bit of acid damage, enough to sting you, though you kind of brush it off, shoulder it, and smash it, shattering the crystal at its core. Where...
Yeah, I need to roll concentration.
For your Shield of Faith.
Is that con? Is that con?
I tend to roll Wisdom.
Okay. And concentration is half the is 10 or half the damage. you took.
Whatever's more. So it's 10.
So that would. So that's
10.
So that was a DC 10. Because if it was just half the damage, that's a DC 2.
It's 2. Actually, wait, no. If you only took 1 damage, wouldn't it be DC 0?
Oh yeah, it would be DC. Yeah, DC 0. So I couldn't have actually failed,
Failed that.
if it had been that, but because it's
And
a
that
Nice,
one
man.
would have succeeded.
We have a new way of the meme. The DC is half the damage.
Stop it!
As when Wolfric destroys the crystal, when he shatters it, you can see this black mist kind of almost collapse around it. The shimmer start to disappear. The creatures are still there, and I need the 3 of you to make me a Constitution saving throw as the mist just almost erupts, nuclear bomb style. However, it wouldn't do anything to them because it's also a damage they're immune to, and it wouldn't restore their hit points. 'cause they've not been hit
Eidolon
yet.
is done with failing con saves.
He is done with failing con
Eidolon is
saves.
done with failing them.
Wait, you guys.
But you
guys
still
failed
take
con
the
saves?
damage because it's a con save.
I know. Unless M does it, the nat 20s take no damage. But I'm
You
okay
get
with
half.
either way.
You get half of half. 10.
But I will still take the damage.
10, 12, 24, 29, 30, Ewan, you take 15 damage. Marcusar, you take 30 damage. Eidolon, you take 7 damage.
How much damage do I take?
15.
15.
As this crystal just erupts to the point that Ranagash, even in your kind of semi-conscious, almost self-contained state, you can even feel the house shudder and shake at the force of this eruption, where the blighted creature that Marcusar knocked unconscious, the one that is now currently at your feet, Marcusar, as the impulse wave is emitted, you see the necrotic energy almost get soaked up by it like a sponge, and it starts to move and crack and shift and start to stand back up again.
Does the crystal actually look destroyed or nah?
It does, yeah. There is no more smoke
nice.
being emitted from it, there is no more light pulsing in it, and the shimmering sheen that seemed to surround it, that seemed to produce these blighted creatures from somewhere, has disappeared. As with those 2 attacks, is that your turn, Wolfric? It feels weird still not you having action surge, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Can't miss it, not gonna lie.
At the start of his turn for him to roll like 18 dice.
Yeah, like, I'm just waiting for more dice to come and they never do, and I'm kind of just, it feels a bit weird sometimes. As Craig, it's Eidolon's go.
These things are still alive though, yeah?
Yep.
How many of them?
There are 6.
6. This appears to be the only thing doing this so far though, yes?
That you are aware of. You've not really honed into the rest of town at the moment. This is the
gotta focus
immediate.
on putting these things down. Yeah, gotta focus on putting these things down. I can't do my AoE again, which is the only annoying thing.
It is kind of shitty that that's a one-time thing.
Yeah, unless like I also like the weird thing about Arms of the Astral Staff is you can't even drop it willingly. It lasts for 10 minutes, and that means it lasts for 10 minutes.
I guess it's because it's not a caster ability, and it tends to be reserved for caster abilities that can drop it more willingly.
Do you know what, I'm just gonna move through. There's 6 of them, as in there's 6 of them, 2 on the ground, or there's 6 of them, 6 of them up.
5 of them are standing. 1 of them is getting up.
What about the one Wolfric just hit?
He hit.
Oh no, that was the crystal.
He destroyed the
My bad.
crystal.
The one that's getting up, as in it's back alive, or as in
It's back alive. It was the one that Marcusar knocked down, and it's getting back up.
Cool. I'll go for that one. See if I can't knock it down, and then kind of just move through the crowd, I suppose. 15, I presume, hits.
Yep.
That's 24 damage.
That's it down.
Cool. Second attack, I'll punch it to make sure it's dead. Don't want it coming back up. So me a 23 hits.
Yep.
And that's 11 damage. I'm going to expend a key point, and essentially just as I punch into the ground, the tendrils will also go into the ground and attempt to lash up at another one. That's 2 attacks. Bonus action. I'm assuming a 9 misses.
Misses.
And that's actually quite depressing.
Yep. They all both miss, as they're just outside of the reach of your Arms of the Astral Self.
Actually, no, because that would require 2 points to make a 2d6 attack hit. That's not worth it for now. That's fine, that's one of them down, there's only 5 left.
Yep. As Marcusar, Eidolon comes over and ensures the one that was in front of you is dead and stays dead. There are 5 left.
Are the 5 that are left?
How dense are they?
How close are they?
They are probably all...
Within a 20-foot radius?
Yeah.
I would like to cast Spike Growth in the center of this mass. Have I done this right? I always have to check. I'm so...
No, spells are confusing.
The ground in a 20-foot radius centered on a point within range twists and sprouts hard spikes and thorns. The area becomes difficult terrain. Duration: when a creature moves into or within the area, it takes 2d4 piercing damage for every 5 seconds. Every 5 feet it travels.
Okay. So they wouldn't take damage at the moment because they're not moving. They'll move on their turn, obviously towards Wolfric and stuff.
Their turn will be next after me, right?
Yes.
Well, there we go. Yes, so I wish to cast that in the most central point of these people.
Mm-hmm.
Would that also get any plus?
It would, because it's a 40-foot diameter circle. It would mean that, like, Wolfric and Eidolon were on the edge of it, so you'd probably want to give them the warning that if they are, like, moving towards these things, just to be a bit more careful with it.
Aim it, like, maybe slightly behind them, then, so it only...
Like, almost the semi Like the semicircle engulfs them.
Yeah. I just want to catch them, not us three.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the plan.
As your
Do I have to
spikes
roll for
begin
that?
to grow. Nope, they grow.
Cool.
Your spikes are there, Marcusar.
Now, if any of them should move, they'll take 2d4 piercing damage.
Yeah, for every
For every
5
5
feet
feet.
they move.
And it's force damage, not even a save.
No, it's just automatic. To which case, if you're not doing anything else on your turn.
I'm going to. I can heal myself. I forgot I was super low.
I was
Not
wondering
super
with that.
low, but, like considerably, almost a third. Of
A little
my
bit lower
max
than
health.
you'd like.
Wolfric, how are you looking, by the way?
I'm alright.
Okay, well, I'll just heal myself then. I will healing word myself. Actually, no, I can cure wounds myself. Get more. Yeah, I'll cure wounds myself at 3rd level.
Spoiling yourself here, Paul.
You know, I'm scared.
He doesn't want to die again.
Yeah, again. 22 packs. That has almost doubled my health.
As coming to their turn, what I need you to do is roll me.
Wait, hold on. Is cure wounds is cure wounds a bonus action? No, it's
No,
not.
it's an action, so it would have to be healing word. Fuck.
Ah, fuck! Didn't even think about that. Ah, well, ignore that. I don't have 22 hit points back. Shit.
Roll a 3rd
Wait,
level
what
healing word. Cure wounds is an
Fuck's
action,
sake.
and spike growth is
I
also
thought
an
it was
action.
Healing word. All right. God damn it! I'm such a bad player. So
I
it's
just need
still
more
4D.
attention span as your GM.
Yeah. Okay, 12 back. Still not anything. Better than nothing.
As coming to their turn, I need you to roll me 64.
60.
64. As they will obviously move towards Wolfric, they'll move towards.
64. Okay. 64.
They'll move towards Wolfric. They'll move
That's
towards
that's
Eidolon.
so annoying. 2s and 1s.
That's a lot of ones. That's a lot of
Do you want
twos.
to know something even more annoying, Paul?
What?
They're all on 1 HP.
They have 11 health!
Every single one
I
of them
like-
is on 1 HP.
Oh my god. Like, that's so frustrating. I needed to roll just like 1 more 2 would have been fine.
Or, like a 4 at one stage.
Yeah.
Or even a
God
3.
damn it. That's some bullshit. Oh well.
So I'll roll these.
Roll 20 hates you.
It's payback for me fucking up the healing word thing.
Like,
It's
you
"Haha,
went at
you
the
dumb
start.
shit. You used an action. It's a bonus action. Fuck you.
You went at the start of this campaign and said that Roll20 hated him, but I think Roll20 actually hates Paul a bit more.
No,
You and your
no.
AC is currently 20, isn't it?
Yes.
So only one of those will hit you, and then Eidolon, your AC is 17, yes?
Yes, it is.
So none of those will hit you.
Eat a dick.
Where is my d6? 6 plus 1 is 7, doubled is 14. You take 14 damage, piercing. As Eidolon, you are kind of flanked by 2 of the creatures. They try and hit you. You are more used to these creatures' fighting styles than to everything else, so you're able to dodge them quite quickly, quite deftly. Wolfric, whilst you're able to keep them off, the fact that 3 of them try and almost pile on you quite quickly takes you by surprise, as you're not able to block all of them, and one of them just manages to catch you. Its claws, these almost infectious claws, scraping into your arm, along your arm, and just doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
As Matthew, it's Ran. He'll have felt the house shake and can still hear combat outside.
That's... Y'all hear some? Okay, I'd say that's enough that he's just maintaining his presence there at the side of the bed, obviously, again, not looking, as it's kind of hard to see through tears, but he's managing to stay on his feet, which is good. But yeah, that's...
Oh, actually, I was free to looking to Rand's perspective. All we really know is that what happened
let
for
me blur.
Marcusar.
This is the thing, to Rand's current vision, to his current state of mind, it will be a lot worse than it actually is, because he's essentially seen his mother injured, he's seen her bandaged up, he's had to help hold his mother in place, and then had to listen to Marcusar perform surgery on her in a bed with no tools, with an obsidian blade, to then, through teardropped eyes, essentially see only half of a figure lying in bed with red-stained sheets. To Ran, this doesn't look good. To Ran, this is like the worst thing imaginable, if not worse than that. So the only way you get, I guess, a clearer view of perhaps her condition is if one of the three of you actually saw her, because at the moment Ran's bias would very much be in the way. All of the emotion is there, with none of the logic, as why would the logic be there? As top of initiative, it is yourself, Ewan. It is Wulfric. There are three of them on you.
Right.
They all look to be in pretty worse for wear conditions, though, kind of shambling on top of you.
That'll miss.
Yep.
That'll hit.
That will hit.
Ooh.
Just whatever one's closest, just sinking an axe into it.
It seems to stop moving, though, as you know, mere force alone isn't always enough to kill these creatures.
Wait, I'm just quickly, yeah, I'm fine for concentration.
Fuck yeah. Concentrate on that shit.
You concentrate on that shit. As Eidolon, Craig. Wulfric has managed
so how many are down right now?
Wulfric has managed to sever one, so that is down. You currently have 2 on you, and 2 are still on Wulfric.
Can I reach the one that Wulfric is downed?
You take opportunity attacks from the 2 that are attacking you.
No, as in my unarmed attacks have reach. Would I be able to reach the one that Ewan's put down?
Yes.
Cool. So essentially, first attack, I'm just going to lash out a tendril at the one Ewan's put down.
Mm-hmm.
So just making sure I hit.
You have advantage because it's prone.
Yeah.
That'll hit.
That's 8 damage, which I presume kills it.
Mm-hmm.
And then with my attack and my bonus action attack, I'm just going to pull the tendrils back and almost lash them across the one that's closest to me. Well, one of them doesn't actually matter too much. As that's a nat 20.
That'll hit.
See if this just kills it out. Just to see this kills it outright and don't even need to punch it in the ground, hopefully. So that is 8 doubled 16. That probably won't kill it outright.
That does.
Ooh. Alright, so I've got one more attack. I'm not going to expend a key point this time. I'm just going to go for the other one that's next to me. That's a non-nat 20 this time.
That'll hit. Is this feeling familiar yet, Paul?
Feeling kind of familiar.
Does a 12 kill the other one? Actually, they're all on 1 hit point right now.
Yeah.
Alright, so I'm assuming that kills the one next to me as well?
Mm-hmm.
So how many of these are left?
2.
Wait. May I add something? Do you know how Craig has to hit? We have to hit it and then hit it when it's down. Surely Craig's attack there just killed it outright. Because if they have 11 hit points and they were on 1 hit point, Craig's doing exactly their hit point maximum.
Yeah.
That's what M said. I killed it.
Hell yeah. Oh no, sorry.
So
I got really lost for a second.
So did
Sorry about
I.
that.
It's okay. I am keeping track of math.
There's only 2 left though. There's
Yes.
only 2 left.
And they're both on 1 hit point. As Marcusar.
How many left? Just the one.
2.
Okay, I want to swipe at both of them. One with proficiency, one without.
Cool.
You should take the feat that gives you a fighting style, Paul.
And then,
Yeah, probably.
is it dueling?
There's a 22 hit.
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna roll the second one just because. There's a 15 hit.
Yep.
As of just easily cutting through the fucking like hay or something like that with my sickle, as it would be a farming tool. I just want to chop the heads off them. Do I have to roll damage?
Your modifier's a +1, yeah. Well, +2.
Yes.
So you'll kill them.
It's +2.
Means they're dead.
They're on
Yeah.
a hit
But
point.
let's just roll for fun, eh?
Your D4.
So the first one takes 3 damage. And the next one takes
Paul.
4 damage.
Oh, Paul. You should just not use D4s ever again. They don't seem to like you very much.
No. Fairness, the odds are a lot worse.
As with that, with no source, keeping initiative order, at least for this moment, though the blights won't have any time to react, it will give you a chance to obviously kill them properly, kill them outright, Eidolon.
Yeah, buddy.
As I will keep your initiative in the background, at least for now. As the 3 of you are standing there, these corpses kind of starting to bubble and decay and almost turn into nothing. They decompose a lot faster than they should, leaving nothing but skeletons scattering the yard. The crystal broken and the mist starting to recede from it. The three of you are obviously out and about. Ranigash obviously isn't there, though that is partially understandable. As I guess the three of you have a moment, have a breather.
Marcusar, please tell me Rand's still inside.
He is. He should be with his mother.
Alright. More taking this moment, casting my eye around. Is this mist still persisting?
Yep. It seems to be removing itself from this area, however it still seems to be in Kinreen.
There's likely more of those. You need to get Ran. As Eidolon Mortis slowly starts to pace.
I'll go get him. As I head upstairs to check on Ran and the condition of Frida.
As using this time with Wolfric, as I'll let Marcusar go do that. I'll turn to Wolfric. What was that thing talking about?
That it wants me.
Yeah, I heard that, but what does that mean?
Do you remember how I said that the Iron Dragons were wiped out by a dragon?
Don't tell me it was that.
That's the dragon.
You want to kill that?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Not now, but I've got some things I'll need to tell you then, Wolfric.
That's always a great thing to say.
Do you think I like saying it?
No. No one likes saying things.
Alright, we can't split up here, though. We need to find each of them one by one. Alright?
Right.
We split up, we'll probably die.
Understandable.
Have a good day.
As for Marcusar, obviously this conversation occurring outside. In panicked frenzy, you obviously head upstairs to check on Ran. He has moved. He is standing. He doesn't look in any better state. He still looks very glassy-eyed, staring off almost in the middle distance, kind of, towards the floor, possibly. You're not too sure on Frida's state, as it appears she is breathing, but it's kind of hard to tell if that's laboured or inhibited or not, as she's obviously still in quite a bit of pain, so that's impacting a lot, so you're not too sure if it's laboured through pain or laboured through an inability to actually breathe, as you can't see her internals.
I guess healing her more wouldn't do much, would it?
Not really. You'd maybe accelerate the process, but the joy of magical healing, which a lot of people kind of like to forget, is it tries to restore the body to its original state, and if it doesn't have an original state to go to, it kind of struggles to do much more than stem bleeding or stop, infection, that sort of thing.
Will it?
No. There is magic that can do that, but sadly magic you don't know.
Yeah. Ranigash will have to go. We'll have to leave her. She'll be okay for now, but we have other issues to deal with.
No response.
If you wish to stay by your mother's side, I won't stop you. But we have to go hunt down some, blighted people.
Again, he just says nothing.
I leave. I don't think there's much convincing at this point, so I'm just gonna leave. Actually, no. I don't want to leave him by himself. Shit. Don't want to leave him by himself. And I also don't want to leave Frida by herself. So I guess I'll leave.
As Marcusar returns into the back garden, into the kind of now quite destroyed garden, Ranigash not with him.
He's staying with his mother.
Alright, we'll have to make this do.
Right.
Can either of you two pick up on magic?
Yes.
Come on, we need to know where they are.
Tech magic.
Dink.
It's probably going to be a little blinding at first for you, Paul. I think all of this is magic.
I mean, yeah, all of the mist is magic.
I've managed to tune out all of your guys' magical shit. That's just like background.
It's static now. How
Yeah.
far is detect magic? That's what I need right now.
I believe it's just kind of. Does it have a range? It's kind of just up to an hour.
Ish. 30 feet of you.
30 feet. Well, I guess.
So I can give you compass directions. Is the best way I can do this. Is I cannot give you exact locations.
We have 10 minutes of a compass.
Essentially, yes.
10 minutes. Sorry. Yeah. Okay.
As
So what coordinates? What
like if you guys are
cardinal
here,
Where are we going?
right? You guys are in Frida's back
Yeah.
garden.
Yes.
You currently have that direction.
Okay.
Ah, that's a really shitty arrow. Sorry. That direction and kind of that direction. So like
We should probably head down first.
rough,
There's 2 on the right.
rough north, rough northeast, and then rough kind of southeast.
I'll list off in the reverse: southeast, northeast, and then to the north.
As I roll.
Because that gives us kind of like a. That'll kind of send us through the town.
I'll turn to the 2 of them and just say, "You two start prepping yourself for another fight. I'll get on ahead quicker."
Alright.
I'll use my action because we're out of combat to dash. Just so I'm moving at 90 feet.
Yep.
As I'll make my way down in the direction Marcus are pointing me in.
Cool.
Northeasterly.
So you kind of pass Frida's house, obviously pass the Tulip and Brass into this plaza and start coming. There's nothing there, so you start heading around the main road of Kinreen, the road that you guys came into when you first entered. Obviously breakneck speed, being Eidolon and being fast. You can see that people have obviously started to leave their houses to see what's going on. Some people have seen the mist and gone back in. You can see some lights in some windows as people are obviously wanting to pry and see what's happening. The closer you can get, I guess, to the more southeastern portion of town, however, the mist becomes thicker and you can hear, I guess, the unpleasant sounds of probably people living on the edge of town not being quite so lucky.
Yeah. Do I see a crystal by chance, though?
Not far from the southern gates.
Okay. Should I, and this is a question to the rest of us, 'cause I don't know if I should or not, I could expend a key point to shout to essentially the entire town to stay indoors. If that sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
They don't want to keep that key point for anything good.
I mean, that's sort of the sort of like toss-up. It's either I can keep the key point for something combat related, or I could shout to the entire town for everyone to stay indoors.
I mean, these things don't actually seem too difficult to deal with.
Yes, but
Just that
commoners can't deal with them.
You've got to remember, like,
So
for you they're not too difficult to deal with, but a commoner has 4 health.
exactly. So I think your key point would be more necessary in saving the commoners rather than attacking them. So yeah, I would say use it.
Cool. So essentially, as I'm running through, as I'm starting to see this, I'll expend a key point to essentially spark up the visage.
Yep.
As it's 6. My 5. So essentially shouting, how long does this go? So every creature within 600 feet of me
Yep.
Can hear this, as Eidolon would more just bellow, like when I was at the Tower of the Unfortunate Sons, he was just speaking, but everyone could hear it.
Yeah.
In this instance, he's actually shouting, "If you value your lives, stay indoors."
What a terrible
Because I
way to
don't-
phrase it. You value your lives.
I mean, he's not
As
the most
everyone-
eloquent with words.
Is that an intimidation?
No, I think given the situation that's going on, there's no heroic figures in this town. No one thinks that they're gonna be able to deal with it. This isn't a very magical town even then, so yeah, they're gonna take that advice.
Matthew, you'd also hear that. I know that doesn't impact anything, but yeah. As I run towards the crystal.
As I need to write up this once more, slot in this one. As Craig, you will have 2 rounds, so I'll describe what you see, but you'll have 2 rounds before Wolfric and Marcusar get there. So when you actually get to the crystal, this one seems to have, I guess, been able to be active a little bit longer. There are more of the blighted creatures here, there are more of these blighted humanoids here, but the thing that strikes you slightly a bit more concerning about some of these is some of them are armoured, some of them are wielding weapons. They're moving from commoners to these look like mercs, these look like soldiers.
Mercs, you say?
Mm-hmm.
Do they have any insignia on them?
Not that you can see, at least from preliminary inspection. Perhaps closer they might have something on them.
Okay. Essentially narrating what I'm going to be doing. I am not going to be trying to fight these things. I am trying to move through right to the crystal.
Okay. I will give you 2 opportunity attacks going through.
Cool. Make them, please. I'm not stepping in the wind or anything. I'm taking these.
Neither of them will
That's
hit.
about it.
Highest is a 16.
Nice.
Yep,
that's a miss.
so movement, you then have a set of actions, so a set of your attacks to attack the crystal.
I'm assuming there's no way to eloquently remove this, so it's just attacks.
Nope, this is just attacks. You're kind of gonna have to take the brunt of it when it explodes.
Mm-hmm. Not doing... Essentially, like, I appreciated Wolfric's just massive acts of that. This instance, I'm just going to take my hand, place it on the crystal, and very similar to how I absolutely fucking decimated the bars in the Tower of the Unfortunate Sons, I'm just going to let the tendrils do their thing.
Yep.
How many attacks should I make here if I've got essentially 2 sets of actions? That's 6 attacks. This is 1 extra attack, bonus action attack, 1 extra attack, bonus action attack.
I will only give you 1 set of attacks using one of your turns to maneuver closer to the crystal. So action,
so
bonus action.
That'll miss.
Yes.
Luckily it's a tendril, so it's not like my sword can break or anything.
It seems to be that your tendrils are actually almost struggling to break into this thing. Even your second attack.
As that.
So your second and third attack will hit, but it seems that the blight against the blight in this situation is struggling to be effective.
At least I can make fun of it instead of me for once. As in total onto the crystal, that is 23 damage, just with that last tendril.
Cool.
How is it looking, I
Give
suppose?
me a Constitution saving throw.
This is gonna hurt. I don't have Wolfric. Oh, 22!
That's pass.
Oh.
8, 10, 17,
Solid damage when they throw up.
20, 33, 32 is what? 16 damage? Halved?
Oh, I'm gonna need some healing soon.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's cool.
16 damage as it erupts. And the blights around it do not look very happy. As getting onto the scene for yourself, Wolfric and Marksar, you can see that Eidolon has just destroyed the crystal. You can see this almost caustic, necrotic wave emit across the land, the mist starting to fade, and you can see more of these blighted humanoids starting to obviously turn to attack Eidolon. He is the closest thing for them to attack. You can also see that a couple of them here are more well armoured. They are wearing weaponry. They are wielding weaponry. And I guess it's almost a double take for yourself, Wolfric, as you can't 100% say it, but some of the faces, some of the garb kind of look familiar, but you just can't place it.
Is it a history check?
You can give me a perception check. Perception over history.
I think that's even better for you, Ewan.
Notice some fine details. Nice.
Yo!
As you start moving in, obviously readying your axe to attack some of them, these more, I guess, well armoured, even then it's still kind of light, this more Nordic style of chain and padding. They are wearing the cloaks, though in worse state for wear, and the emblems of the Northern Iron Dragons.
Do I recognize any of their faces?
Not these ones. These seem to be, perhaps, strange way to put it, but newer. They look younger, despite obviously being decayed and decomposites.
It's even worse.
You do know, obviously, from Wolfgang that to help with an issue in the north, Drakenel had sent new recruits into Mire. Perhaps these are some of those new recruits. As top of initiative for this round, it's yourself, Wolfric.
I'm just gonna rush the closest one that looks like an iron dragon and hit it.
Yep. That will hit.
No, that was damage.
Oh yeah.
Holy shit! Yeah, that is damage.
That is damage. As I need to math. Doink.
This is worrying, Ewan.
As 1 is hit.
And I'll hit it again.
That will also hit.
I can reroll ones.
Reroll 1s.
Just don't roll another one. Oh, that's much
That's
fucking
12, That's 12 instead.
He is still up. He is still standing.
better. Oh, they're a lot tougher.
Why did I math that wrong? That should be...
Yeah.
24.
In my turn there.
Eidolon, you now have backup. Wolfric and Marcusar have arrived. Wolfric has started beating down on one of the more armoured creatures.
Yeah. The crystal's gone though?
Yep, crystal gone.
More readying my sword to start striking at one close to me. I'm just gonna call over. Marcusar could use a bit of a hand.
I'll
Are you
deal with
referring to
these
some-
ones.
Are you referring to some heals?
Yes, I am in fact. As she's readying my sword, taking it in 2 hands, just tend to plunge it into the chest of one of the more armoured ones close to me.
Yep. So you've got one.
I'll give you
You can do a heal on your turn, Paul.
sorry.
22 to hit.
22 will hit, yes. Don't worry, you're next.
As it takes. Oh!
Woo!
Oh, that's not.
Oh, it's painful. 2 1s on 2d10. Driving it through rather ineffective though. Couldn't really get far in. Essentially take it out and instead try slash. Maybe stabbing isn't as effective.
Can you roll me another 20, Craig?
Yeah.
Your sword
Doesn't
doesn't.
break.
Your sword
Fine.
doesn't break. But as you go to almost slash, as you go to almost strike, it seems like whoever this person was in life, they are quite a skilled combatant, to the point that they put their arm up to block your blade, and it just hits against almost like a metallic guard that they have against their forearm, that it slices through but doesn't deal any damage.
More using that as a slight opportunity since their arm's up. I'm just gonna raise my left fist as my bonus action and try punch and almost just try uppercut.
Yep.
24 hopefully will hit.
Yes.
As that is 10 damage force that time.
Cool.
God, that was an awful turn.
It was, yeah.
Jesus.
As Paul, it's Marcusar's go.
I would like to. Do I want to get close to him and give him a big cure wounds? Yeah, I feel like
I don't need too much. I'm just quite low.
Moving towards him, you will take a couple of opportunity attacks.
I can just
Well.
deal with a healing word if that's all you can give me. And live with that.
healing. You can survive a healing word.
I hope so. It's healing, not damage.
I mean, it is evocation for some reason.
12 HP back.
12 heals.
How pleasant of you.
Then
Now looking a bit better.
what else can I do with my action? I feel like we got these guys. Maybe there are more to come. We've still got like 2 other areas of people to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'll be my last 2nd level spell.
Oh shit, never mind then.
Yeah.
Dispel magic. And in fact, you've used quite a lot of your higher level spell slots because Dispel magic's 3rd.
He did 2
Yes.
dispel magics.
So you've lost both your 3rds, for example.
I have no 3rds. I have 2 4s, 2 1s, and a 2. So I'm just gonna maybe not do anything for the rest of my turn. Because
Yeah,
could I get close to attack?
You would be able to get close enough to attack one of them, yeah.
But you said I would get a opportunity attack.
Well, if you're
That would be if you were coming to heal me.
If you're moving to heal Craig, you would get an opportunity attack because you have to move past them. However, if you're just moving to the closest one to attack it, you're not going to get an opportunity attack for that.
I shall do that then. I'm just moving to the guy.
Cool.
12 to hit.
That will hit. Because I'm assuming you're not going for one of the more armoured, well, combatants.
No, I'm going for the one that looks like I could take them with my feeble little 1d4 sickle. 4 damage.
Well, you can certainly take them with that. They're not dead, but, you know, they're getting there. You can chip away at them slowly.
You have me and Wolfric to do that job.
Exactly. You guys do the big damage. I do the cleaning up.
Wait, where's that meme where it's like sometimes all you need is 2 burly men?
Alright, so we are two burly men. We are best friends. We will do what you want.
As
Press on the poster, and I'm going to request Matthew to do a Photoshop. There it is.
Matthew, it's Rand's turn. Obviously, hearing Eidolon bellow out to the people.
Let me make a wisdom.
Oh, it's getting lower.
That's not good. Yeah, they're getting lower. So no, he's not going anywhere for the time being, unfortunately.
He's slowly just breaking that little bit more.
I mean, we can't blame him.
Nope. I mean, technically, at this point, going through the thoughts in his head, this is his fault.
Mm-hmm.
As I get to roll some attacks. So, Eidolon, you're a 17, yes?
Mm-hmm.
So, nope. That won't hit Wolfric, that won't hit Wolfric. However, Marcusar, a 14 and an 18.
Yeah, they just hit.
Cool.
A little bit sad that it's only Marks are getting hit, not our two tanks.
The highest for you is a 16, the highest for Wolfric was a 12. However,
Damage do I take?
Wolfric, you also do get to do something exciting. As Marcusar, you take 6 damage,
Funny Sentinel?
and haha, you and Sentinel.
Let's go!
He does it! He does his feet!
As obviously you are
Sorry,
close enough to
only-
Marcusar to attack. You only take 6 damage, Marcusar.
Yo, that's not too bad. I'll take that.
Yo,
any day.
you and that.
Does that hit?
That will hit.
I fucking
Is
hope
this
it
one
hits.
is this one looking relatively undamaged?
This one is, yes. But it's also not an
Okay,
armoured
so-
one, so it's also...
This is a... Remember, they have about 11 health, so I don't think... Actually, no, did Marks already hit it?
Are you...
Or-
you have the choice. You can go for an undamaged one, or you can go for Marcusar, the one that Marcusar kind of sickled.
I'm going for the one that Marcus are sickled.
Cool. That
I'll
one
put
is
it down.
That one
Hell
is
yeah.
down.
Sentinel's a fucking good feat, Jesus.
Hence why I took it.
Marks, or maybe throw your sickle at me and then I'll reaction throw it at someone.
As Wolfric, it's back to you. You now have, obviously, the armoured gentleman, but you also have a more commoner also attacking you. You mostly managed to intervene against an attack against Marcusar, but you've got about 4 of them surrounding the 2 of you. Eidolon has
Right.
3 of them, but he can deal with that.
I'll hit the more armored one closer to me.
Yep.
That is going to be a first level divine smite.
Shine. Hakyoin.
Okay, so let me roll my 1d12 plus 4. Oh, this is gonna be big numbers. Their class is undead, right?
Yeah, they are.
So that's 3d8.
3d8.
Ladies and gentlemen,
So it's 27 double.
54 points
54.
of damage. 54 points of damage in a single attack.
So when you go to smite them, when you go to attack them, the axe ignites in holy light, and when you strike it through the body, you're not too sure if it's the radianceness of the axe, as it's never really done this before. Perhaps it's the channeling of divine energy from Liara, but the body itself, the creature itself, bursts into flames. This holy white light that just seems to turn it to ash almost instantly.
That's new.
He did
Let's
50, he did 54 damage.
Alright, I'm gonna attack the commoner one now.
That'll hit.
Imagine he missed the commoner though.
Yeah,
funny.
that'd be funny.
Absolutely smites the shit and then just whiffs it.
Cool. That one is also down. This one does not burst into holy light, however, but it is down.
Yo, you can kill him even without fire. Jesus. That's good.
Well, his deity, his patron, is the god of the sun. His
Why
divi-
can't you just have his axe do fire instead of radiant?
Praise be to the sun, motherfuckers.
as Eidolon.
I believe in the sun god now.
Well,
Ewan's
you're
converted me.
you're also infected, so you don't get sun magic.
More honing
He
in
just-
on the one that I was able to cut the arm brace off of. I'm going to take my sword back again and try slash downwards rather than slide sideways this time.
Sidebar. Wulfric does one cool thing with his axe, and he's like, "Oh wow, I believe in the sun god." I've been banging on about the she for 23 sessions now.
Your she didn't disintegrate someone to ash.
Yeah.
Silence.
It
Like,
brought me back to life.
like growing plants.
And that's supposed to be a good thing?
Ooh.
Radiant holy fire.
I mean, Liera.
How the fuck do I do that again?
Liera grows plants.
She does,
but
yeah.
She also doesn't encourage eco-terrorism.
No, that's not the she. That's just my.
My sword doesn't break, but I miss again.
Yeah, I just saw that on the Roll20. This guy's giving you a bit of a run for your money, isn't he?
I just like to imagine at this point it's like slashed down the way, it goes through, but essentially nothing happens. He just flings the sword to the side for the second, just readies his fist and goes in to fucking just punch this thing. Twice. I swear to god if both of these hit.
That
Does
won't
that
hit.
miss? Or
That'll miss.
I'm gonna spend a key point and make that 14. Does that hit?
That'll hit.
Cool.
Armor boys are a
One
little
hit.
tougher.
And that'll hit.
Yep.
As he takes 29 force damage.
Cool. He is also dead and down.
As it's more just sort of just whiffing through with the sword, tossing it aside, literally reach forward with his left fist, grab his head and let the tendrils rip and tear into his body from the top down.
Rip and tear until it's done.
I fucking need to buy Doom Eternal. I fucking do. It's on the Switch. I need it.
As Paul.
So who's still standing?
There is one still attacking you. There are two still
I've got
attacking Eidolon, and there are two unconscious on the ground.
I want to attack the guy who's attacking me.
Cool. That'll hit.
25. Cool. Takes 6 damage.
He's not down.
Does he still stand?
Yeah.
I'll attack again.
Oh, Paul.
12.
That'll hit.
Sick. Oh, I don't mean to roll that again. Sorry. Ignore that.
Paul's happening.
Another 6 damage.
Cool. He is also down. Obviously, you don't really have a way of properly killing them, so they might resurrect.
Yeah.
Did Druids get any fire spells?
Just a flurry of slashes with the sickle.
Heat metal's the closest they can get in terms of fire damage. Unless
They get
you're...
create bonfire.
I suppose. Pardon me. I forgot about Create Bonfire. As Ran.
Oh, he's really not doing good, is he?
Nope. This is really getting...
He's deteriorating.
This is... Oh, we're Realms of Madness almost.
Are you just rolling wisdom to see if you would like?
Wisdom.
It's to...
Basically just like force a will checks, I guess is how
Yeah,
I would...
It's essentially fighting against himself to see if he can actually bring himself to do anything else.
Yeah, if he can like piece himself together a bit.
But it's kind
It's
of
not looking likely.
It's kind of the funny thing is the longer he stays there, the worse it's gonna get. But his rolls are starting to reflect that, considering he now's at a 3. So.
Mm-hmm.
Rand's. I'm not gonna finish it. I'm not gonna finish it.
Go on.
He's really feeling it, Mr. Krebs.
I'm just gonna say Rand's having his Joker moment.
I mean, he could come out of this just completely psychotic.
We do live in a society, after all.
we live in a society.
And then I need
You see, as Batman.
2 and 3.
When I was a
You
child, my mother called me cringe.
I'm like a dog chasing cars.
2, 3, 5, 2. Oh, I think that might hit you, Craig.
What hits me?
It's a 22.
I can reaction shield that, because that would make my AC 22.
Yeah. It hits you. I hit Craig.
Shocking.
We did it.
You take 3 damage.
That's depressing. I don't even drop beneath the 10 that I'm on.
As
Take 3 damage.
none of the attacks, so none of the blights that attempt to hit you, Wulfric, the one that you managed to knock to the ground unconscious, rises back from the grave, attempts to swipe at you, it completely misses. Marcusar again, another one that you knocked, rises from the grave, attempts to swipe at you, it misses. Eidolon, one of the two that is attacking you, it manages to get you, just catches you ever so slightly, scraping against the kind of almost back since you don't have your plate on, broken or not.
If I'm allowed to aestheticize it, it's more just because I don't have I'm used to having my armor on, so it's more raising up my right arm to essentially defend myself, but not realizing that I don't have my armor on my right arm right now.
Don't
Just
have
more
your
just
gauntlet on.
tearing into my arm for a sec.
As top of initiative, Wolfric, you have technically 3 nearby you now. You have 1 that's attacking Marcusar and 2 that's attacking you.
I'm gonna attack one of the ones that's attacking me.
That'll hit.
I see.
Just hacking away at these things. Let's go.
That is one of them down.
That's top. Excellent.
As Eidolon.
Hi, if one of them's stuck on me.
Yep.
Essentially on my arm, I'll take my left arm, let the tendrils wrap around my longsword on the ground, pull it close into my left arm, keeping the one on my right arm and taking it with my left and just trying to stab it through the head with the longsword. Let's see if my abilities with my longsword are still terrible. Does 15 hit?
That'll hit.
Why am I rolling? Here we go. 5. That is 21 points of damage.
It's down.
That's more just letting it fall off the arm, tossing my sword up in the air, catching with my left arm, with my right hand, and as it does, one of the tendrils will just almost absent-mindedly go down and pierce it through the skull. 1, 7. I'm assuming 18 hits.
Yep.
4. And is there one next to me?
Yep.
It's more just taking that, pulling the tendril out of the head of that one, and using the velocity to try just pierce it into the skull of the other one that's near me. 7. Does a 23 hit?
Yep.
4. That is 11 points of damage.
That one's down and dead.
He said it was a commoner one. Cool.
Yep.
Is that it proper dead though?
Yep.
Nice. How many are left?
2 standing.
Is
There
one
are
of them near me?
2 unconscious on the ground that you don't know if they're dead. No, they're near Wolfric and Marcusar.
Cool. I will use my movement to go over to the ones that are kind of unconscious on the floor. I've of course used my entire turn.
As Marcusar.
So there's 1 attacking me and 2 on the ground next to me.
Yes.
I'll use both my attack. Well, not both my attacks. My action and my bonus action to attack the one from me twice.
Go for it.
Why does it take forever to roll the dice?
It does that sometimes.
15?
That'll hit.
Cool. That's 3 damage.
3 is more than 0.
I'll swipe at him again. 6.
That'll miss.
Great.
As it's still up, still fighting, though it seems a bit weaker now that it's risen from the grave at least once. As Ranagash, it's up to you whether you want to impose disadvantage on yourself this time, considering you rolled a 3 last time.
I'll wait for that. I'm keeping track of what I rolled. If this one's bad, yeah, that one's bad. Okay, so the next one will be disadvantage. Because that's 3 below 10.
What's going on in Ranagash's head right now?
A lot of things. A lot of guilt. You know.
Understandable.
As Wolfric, there are 2 alive and 2 on the ground, though Eidolon seems to be getting the ones on the ground.
Alright, I'll knock the I'll attack the ones that are still up.
One of them is injured,
You put him
so
down? Or?
you might be able to just knock that in 1 attack as well. That'll hit.
I'll attack the injured one first.
That's the injured one down.
Right, he looks at Eidolon. I set him up. You knock him down.
Didn't even get... Actually, I'll say that in character. Didn't even give me a chance to finish the line for you.
Attack
That'll
the
also
next
hit.
one.
That'll
we go.
also knock it down. As again, kind of coming out of wave of combat now that the crystal is not up, not giving them the ability to kind of, I guess, react to Eidolon's tendrils. Eidolon, you are obviously able to crush them, kill them one by one, ensuring that they are dead.
Yeah, more just taking the tendrils. Since I can't do it properly in combat, I'll just says it almost similar to how he does the actual activation. He just raises his arm in the air as all the 4 tendrils burst out into the sky and then almost drop down into the skulls of the ones Ewan's just put down.
Yeah.
Dude, you're so good at aestheticizing shit.
Oh, sorry?
You're so good at aestheticizing shit.
It's why I love martials the most. They have the most freedom in how you actually do things.
Yeah.
Because you don't have the flair
Fucking
of magic.
It's like you can aestheticize magic however you want, but there's also limitations of what the spell does. With martial,
Yeah.
it's just roll attack. So it's like, how do I do this attack? However the fuck I want. I love it. The 2 of them, mainly marks are. Alright, where's the next one?
It was northeast of Frida's, so due north from here, possibly.
Alan gives a nod. Alright, I'll go ahead.
Right, I'm following.
Keep me on the right path.
Godspeed.
Action dash again, back to 90 feet movement.
Oh wow, really Godspeed.
Yeah, he's fast.
I can expend a key point and go 180, Paul. It's Sonic time.
As this is what I need. This one.
After this crystal, I'll probably be asking about Ranakash.
As getting through town, Craig, you will be able to see 2 of them.
2 crystals?
Yep.
Fuck me. Alright.
So
Can you ping them? Oh, you don't need to
the
ping them.
the one that is close to you, or the one that you can see as you're breaking into town, heading towards where Marcusar told you to go, is in the caravan yard. However, that is not the only kind of, at this point, almost pulsing purple light that you can see, as by the northern pillars of Kinreen, you can also see another one. However, it's very, very faint through thick black mist.
I'll stop for a second. I'm not too far ahead of them, so I'll let Wolfert catch up, because I didn't actually run for... Actually, no, I ran for quite a fucking while there.
No, you go to the one outside of town,
That's what
I'll
I'm
go to
thinking.
the one in the yard.
Yeah, I'll wait a few seconds just for Wolfert to catch up around the corner. Portrayed that to him. That'll probably when you said that, Ewan?
Yeah.
I'll give you a nod, and run down to this one instead. So I'll let the 2 of them head up to that one.
Cool. This is when I need to get funky.
Oh, I wanted to try avoid splitting us up too much, but I shouldn't be too long. I should be fine.
As I need this in a
Just
group,
gotta get built, guys.
because it makes more sense to keep them in a group. So AC will stay the same. HP will increase to accommodate for the group. Then I also have... Oh shit, it's not that. Sorry, I need to do some math. So initiative, breaking it into 2. So Ewan, Paul, Blight, and then Matthew in between for the break for...
3 of them. So, the fight is happening over there. Has Ranagash dealt with his fucking worries yet?
I think Ranagash is dealing with a more difficult battle than we are.
Yeah. And then Blight. Cool. I have my initiative order, I have my healths. Let's do this!
Let's fucking do it!
Wave combat,
Let's go.
yes!
Go!
As for my 2 boys heading to the caravan yard, this scene is, I guess, a little bit more barbaric than perhaps the scenes in town, as here people weren't, obviously, they don't have houses, they don't have somewhere to hide. A lot of the chaos here happened probably quite immediately and quite quickly. A lot of the caravans have been upturned. You can see a lot of the horses have been just completely and utterly decimated and dismembered. There is also quite a lot of bodies lying around the camp. For Marcusar, well, for the both of you, you'll be able to recognise some of the Orcish hunters, or at least one of them. The other one seems to be absent from the camp. You can see the older of the 2, Emish, seems to be dead. You can also see the Orcish bard that you guys met upon your first entry, Lupa. She has also been killed. There are also a few bodies of some of the other hunters, though a lot of people, you can see tracks leading into Mire as people have just taken the opportunity and ran. They've just bolted. As there are quite a lot of the blights here, though this is where perhaps familiar faces start to come into it for you, Ewan. As amongst the more armoured characters, bearing your insignia, bearing your cloaks, the only reason you can perhaps recognise him is his body is completely deformed at this point through the infection, is the mop of red hair. Stark red hair. As through blighted infection, he has that kind of pallid green tinge to his skin that he would often joke, depending on who asked him, whether he was an elf or an orc. As this gentleman is a lot more recognisable to you, as Gorbin seems to be infected. However, that's not the only recognisable face, despite that being the only recognisable Iron Dragon to you, as perhaps putting the pieces together timeline-wise to Gaerdrah's activities in the north. Some of the commoners that are around the caravan yard, kind of progressing towards town, feasting upon what they can and infecting everything else, are some familiar townsfolk faces from Thornsgard. Specifically that of an older gentleman who I feel really bad because I did this at random and I feel awful. Who used to give you apple treats, apple turnovers, apple pies, even the occasional apple cider when his wife told him not to brew their apples into alcohol. He has been completely deformed.
Fucking dead.
It's Constantine!
However, that's
I told
not
us about him at the beginning of the session!
that's not the only deformity or blighted creature that has been turned from Thornsgard, as I feel really bad because I rolled these at random. As amongst the other blighted creatures, I guess stark difference through some amalgamate that has perhaps been stitched onto her, as the reason she is perhaps more identifiable is because she's the only halfling in the camp.
Winnie!
Winnie.
As amongst the infected, Quinny is also there.
Wolfric's story was kind of like on a down low for a little while. We get here and it's just, your life is fucked. Ewan, are you okay?
I feel awful.
He had so much RP planned.
I feel awful.
Well, he can get some here.
Say your goodbyes now, Wolfric.
Corpses.
As Wolfric, it's you at the top of initiative.
Who am I closest to?
Are you attacking your kind neighbour or one of your best friends?
At this point, they're kind of almost a cluster, so you can attack the kind of collection of commoners, this group of commoners, or you can attack the Iron Dragons. There are 3 members of the Iron Dragons here, obviously one of them being Gorbin, and then there's 5 other blighted creatures, 2 of them being faces you recognise, one of them being Constantine and the other being Quinny.
I'm gonna attack Gorbin.
We've never even met these characters.
No, but Ewan did.
I'll reroll ones.
How does Wolfric feel about fighting right now?
Wolfric's not happy. Is a 12 hit?
No, that will miss.
In my turn there.
As Paul, as Mark Stars go, as you see Wolfric fight, Wolfric seems very shaken.
Okay. I imagine it's just the horrors of what we're watching right now. I obviously don't know who these people are. How you said they're kind of clustered together? How close? Like a 20-foot cube? 20 feet square? Sorry.
You could get the commoners, so the kind of lesser blighted creatures, so to speak, in that 20-foot cube very easily.
Okay. I would like to cast Entangle on those that are in that square.
Tink, tink, tink. Creatures in the area. Strength save. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3, 14, 17, 13, 12.
18 passes. And I guess I will attack with my, because that is an action. With a bonus action, I'll attack one that's closest to me. Who would that be?
One of the ones that would be closer to you would be one of the more armoured ones.
I guess.
Though you can.
So I'll attack one.
You could move around to attack one of the commoners, as because they are restrained, you would have advantage on the attack as well.
I'll do that then.
Because there's enough space that you can maneuver the caravan yard without provoking opportunity attacks, at least at the moment. So you can leave the more armoured ones to Wolfric and kind of pick off the stragglers.
Commoners that are entangled.
Nat 20, roll me some damage.
Oh boy!
20, let's go. That is D4 plus 2 doubled, which is 8 damage.
Hey, every little helps.
That's sad.
How pathetic.
As What is your spell save DC at the moment, Paul?
15. That should be correct, hold on.
8
Wisdom.
plus.
Wisdom is 4.
8 plus proficiency plus wisdom, so that is 3
Plus 1.
Plus
4
1,
plus-
16.
Wait, plus
Your
one,
sickle,
how
your
was
sickle
16?
gives you an additional plus 1.
I always do something wrong! So an 8 plus 4
You-
plus 3 plus 1.
Yeah. So 8
Okay.
plus 8, so 16.
Cool, well, the 17 still passes, but...
Yeah.
My spell
Um,
attack bonus is still plus 7, correct?
So one of them's free. So your spell attack bonus would be plus 8. Your sickle gets added to
So it's
both.
4 plus 3 plus 1.
Have I not had this attached the whole time?
So 2 of them will be able to break out of your entangle. One of them's already broken out of your entangle. So they're not happy
Well,
with
that did a lot. That did a job good.
you. None of them hit you.
That's good.
Highest was a 9, so very lucky.
Cool.
And Wolfric, none of them hit you either, as they do attempt to honing some of their skills in life. You can see it quite quickly with Gorbin. He's a little bit more finesse in his attacks. They seem to have some muscle memory, but not much else, as you are able to counter them, as these are men that you have trained and trained with. You know their fighting style, so can move out of the way relatively easily. As Ranagash, you can no longer hear the fighting, you can no longer hear the noise. You are now completely alone with your thoughts.
Oh shit, it got a bit better.
Better.
Perhaps the silence is now too deafening. Your thoughts maybe stray that little bit to, oh, is everyone else okay? If only for a second. We'll see if you can shake yourself out of that stupor for much longer. As for yourself, Eidolon,
Hello.
you come face to face at the northern gates with 8 more of these blighted creatures. However, only one of them amongst these 8 seemed to be an iron dragon of sort. Though he seems a bit different than the rest, I guess. The blight itself seems to have almost mutated his form, made him a lot larger, though beneath it all you can see that he was probably quite an aged half-orc once. The thing that strikes you a bit about him, and it's ironic since we've been watching a lot of Resi recently, is he wields quite a large hammer.
Ah, okay.
So picture one of those guys. Infection and all.
Not really making any specific words, more using the rather loud visage of the astral self just to make quite a loud sort of bellow to try catch their attention, making sure they focus on me.
Mhm.
As I had rushed to the horde of them to try get to the crystal on my turn.
Wait a second. You said Sorry.
Go ahead.
You said he's facing a large half-orc with a large hammer, right? That hammer wouldn't happen to be a lucerne, is it?
It is, yeah.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Em just said, hey, all those characters you wrote, Ewan, yeah, they're dead now.
See,
That's a nice list of NPCs you got there.
This-
It'd be a shame if somebody.
so this was the funny thing is,
For you, half it.
I asked Ewan for a list of NPCs because I'm currently obviously developing Thornsguard in the background, but I also needed some familiar faces for this particular session. So I randomised who I would take from that list. However, when I obviously asked Ewan from the list, unlike Matthew, who when I ask him a question for no specific reason, gets really suspicious, Ewan was just like, yeah, here's all my NPCs with no suspicion.
I'm too trusting. I'm too trusting that I'm not gonna get stabbed.
And now I just
every-
feel really bad because, you know, he was talking so positively about 2 of them today, and I'm just sitting with my notes going,
That was
Oh my
just such bad fucking timing.
Oh my god, this is super fucking ironic because I'd had this personal like headcanon, I hadn't fucking wrote it down. The guy that you're fighting with the massive hammer, he was the only paladin in the Iron Dragons.
Oh
And
shit!
he worshipped a god that fucking hated the undead.
Which one would that be, Em?
I need to ask him that, but he
would have
worshipped a god that
likely-
specifically hated the undead.
it would likely be a Veda. He would take
So,
the
yes.
Hyra Veda.
Also,
Goddess of fucking life.
yeah, because they had to just a little bit of lore story here.
We
that
can get it now.
I'll probably get it later, actually. Wolfric will say it in character, so keep
Please do. I do want to have a long chat with Wolfric after this. Yeah, 45 movement speed. I'm just going to use it, bellowing to the crowd to make sure I have their attention, make sure they're not moving into Kinreen. Yep. As I just like to run through the crowd. Opportunity attacks be damned to get to the crystal.
None of them will hit you. The highest was a 17.
That is my AC.
Sorry, I assume shield.
Never do that! I need to expend a charge gem!
But you have full charges. Do I get to hit you?
I have 5! I just need... No, fuck you. Shield. 22 AC.
This is why I assume. As none of them will hit you on opportunity. So you have your attack.
Cool. Who actually did almost hit me?
Hammer Boy.
Cool. It will essentially be if he's swinging a hammer down on me.
Yes.
It's taking my left hand, putting it against the brunt of the hammer, having the shield essentially interpose a barrier between that, and just pushing the hammer away.
Like Spider-Man Civil War, it's like, whoa, cool arm.
This is mine now.
Nice hammer.
Yo, could I steal someone else's hammer, Paul?
Go for it, fucking swing around like that.
As I'll run up to the crystal again, do the exact same thing, just press the hand against it, hope to God, and make my 3 attacks.
Yep.
Alright, that's 13,
hit.
9, 13.
2 hit, 1 miss.
Oh, this hopefully should be enough to destroy it. That's 23 damage.
That will destroy it.
On save.
Yep.
Nat 20!
Let's go.
1, 2, 3.
I'm returning to my state.
20.
At least we're on the same side this time, Paul.
8,
Yeah.
16, 24, 30.
Are we?
For now.
45,
Very good.
52,
52!
halved.
And then halved again, I hope.
What's half of 52?
60,
20,
man.
26?
Yeah. Half to again is 13.
13. 13 damage.
Halved. I'm happy I rolled a nat 20 this time. Not
I
looking
rolled
great.
a lot of 8s. I rolled a lot of 8s. As now it's the Blight's turn, Craig.
Come at me, motherfuckers.
All 8 of them?
One gets a collective attack, the other gets just 1 attack. To which case you're hit by neither of them. It seems that as much as it was probably a stupid idea for you to go alone, it's probably also advantageous, as these things are not very intelligent, and as they try to pile on top of you, that inhibits others from attacking. To the point that they also inhibit the giant one with the hammer from attacking you.
That's kind of what I was hoping for, if I'm being completely honest with you.
As top of the initiative
meat
order,
shield.
essentially, it is Wolfric.
I'm gonna make another attack. I'm gonna just pure focused on putting these people out of their misery. Will that hit?
Yep.
Reroll that one. Still a 1, so it's not funny. Hit again.
That'll hit.
I would imagine you're rerolling 1s into 1s because Wolfric really doesn't want to kill these people.
Yeah, Wolfric's trying to put them down, but also doesn't want to have to kill them.
Yeah, it's kind of like almost the internal torment of like, this is my friend, but also this is now a monster? Question mark.
Yeah.
As Marcusar, you are, I guess, slightly less lucky, as 2 of the commoners are still entangled. 3 of them, however, have escaped your entanglement and are obviously attempting to attack you.
So could I attack the entangled ones, or do I kind of have to deal with the ones who are in
That's-
my immediate vicinity?
That's up to you. They are all kind of within your reach, so it's up to you who you target.
How close am I to Wolfric?
Not close enough to benefit from Sentinel.
Within hold on.
He's checking something.
I'm really using, I haven't used this many spell slots in a while. Is he within 10 feet of me?
No, he would just be outside of 10 feet.
Cool. I would like to cast Arms of Hadar.
Ooh.
Fucking nice.
Doink, doink, doink. I need to actually get...
I would also... Wait, no, it doesn't break concentration. But the entangle still stay up, because that's concentration.
Yes.
His Arms of Hadar concentration.
Nope, it's
No,
instantaneous.
it's just instantaneous.
Then, yeah, you can keep both up.
Collective strength.
Yes, I would like to cast Arms of Hadar on everyone in a 10-foot radius.
That's a 4.
It's of yourself.
4 on the strength save. Oh yeah, that fails.
I'm just doing a collective
Each creature.
strength save for them
Yeah.
rather than doing it for them all.
That's 2d6 necrotic damage.
Yep.
Pog. It's 10.
As the eruption of blighted plants.
Yeah, I imagine them like they're just like vines growing from outward from me, but also kind of got like a nominally like a dark green, but maybe like strands of like purple and stuff going through it. Like they don't look like
Normal
regular vines.
plants.
They look kind of fucked up, as if I were maybe possessed by Gaerdrah, but who knows?
As the necrotic aspect of the plant doesn't seem to be able to do very much to these creatures, it seems to be that the necrotic damage itself can't really penetrate an already decaying form. However, the bludgeoning damage of the plants does seem to do a little bit of damage to them.
Arms of Fedor doesn't deal bludgeoning damage, just necrotic.
Yeah,
It just necrotic
it's
damage.
necrotic, however I'm aestheticizing.
Also,
can't-
they can't take reactions. Oh, sorry, Paul.
Yeah.
I was literally about to say that, Craig.
I'm sorry, I'll shut up. I'm sorry.
I'm aestheticizing
Um,
the half damage, Craig. Shush.
And whoever's nearest to me, I would like to swipe at them with my sickle.
Yep, give me an attack roll.
Sick 'em.
That's a fail.
Yep, that's not gonna hit.
Cool. End of my turn.
As collective,
There goes my last of my first level spell slots.
that will hit you, Paul.
We seem to be reaching the end of this though, so.
That
Yeah,
will
I have-
not hit, that will hit.
Three
That
spells
will
left? Yeah.
Okay. I need 2 of these, and I need... It's just a generic sword, because it's not him, so it's one of those. Okay, so, Marcusar, you take 8 damage. Wolfric, you take 5 damage. As they attempt to kind of gather, attack you, they attempt to surround you. A few of them try to hit, you're able to block them, and you're almost backstabbed by another one, which pierces your side. Marcusar, at this point, it's sheer numbers against you, that they're just able to claw their way onto you. From the 3 that are still able to escape your vines, however, they are entangled by your entanglement. Yes. As Ranagash,
Disadvantage or no?
that's your choice. He's pulled himself back a little bit, but whether you think that's enough or not, that's a Matthew's choice.
I'm gonna roll just a straight d20. Just. I'm gonna. Okay,
Yo!
yeah. No disadvantage then.
Wait, that was the roll just to see if
Oh,
you had
alright.
disadvantage.
Yeah. Right, okay, so 12, so we're like holding pattern. We've stabilized a bit.
He's not getting worse, he's not getting better, but he's found his feet to the point that he's at least starting to calm his breath almost. As Eidolon, you are now dealing with this mass.
More making a 600 feet call again so everyone can hear it again, but specifically directed towards Wolfric and Marcusar. Have you got the crystal yet? I know they can't respond, but it's more the gesture of
Do it.
if they haven't got it. As I'm going to make 4 attacks. I'm expending a key point for 4 unarmed attacks. Essentially just keeping the sword steady at the side, just holding up the... Fuck, is that the wrong amount of key points? That's the wrong amount of key points, there we go. Just raising up my left hand and almost just like pointing it towards one of them and then just moving the hand slowly to the right to almost let the tendrils just cut through 4 of the more... They're commoner ones, so...
Yeah, as many as you can.
We're letting it raise through, almost like a fucking hose. 14, 17, 19, 22.
Roll me some damage.
I'll roll it all individually and tell me if it's their commoners. So 11, 10, 15, 9.
Cool. So as you move your way
if
through,
it helps, I'll use the 10 and the 9 on the same one.
well,
So
remember,
it's 3 dead.
I'm calculating them as a collective because you're fighting groups at this point.
Oh, okay.
As you move your tendrils through, they start to obviously rip and tear and move through the bodies. They are able to decimate these creatures, decimate these people, to the point that I guess it's a bit more savage than perhaps what you're used to from your own blighted power, but there is not much left of these people as you've moved through them, to the point that the only one that is left, as the bodies and body parts litter the battlefield at this point, as the mist clears, the only one that is left is the big boy.
May I statistize in a slightly different way than if I've killed 7 of them in one go?
Yes.
It's more just in that case, raising up the hand, pointing it generally, having all the tendrils start lash out in front of him, take it to the side for a second, whip it across. There's almost like the slashing noises as they go through each and every one of them. He coils it back, they're all standing for a few seconds longer, maybe they even start moving, and as they move, as they attempt to, their own body falls apart as they step forward. As they slowly just start to disintegrate from the force damage. As I'm left standing in front of Mr. Big Chonky Lad.
As it is Big Chonky Lad's turn.
Oh, come at me, motherfucker. It's a one-on-one time.
21.
I'll shield.
Cool. As he comes
So
down and
more
attempts
this
to hit you.
time, rather than this time, I more like to imagine he swings it from the side, so it's more Eidolon taking a jump, using his left hand with the shield to almost propel himself over the hammer if he's swinging it across him.
As top of initiative, Wolfric. You hear obviously Eidolon bellow out about the crystal, to which you can see it almost pulsating where a bonfire should be.
I'm just gonna sprint straight to the bonus action re-up Shield of Faith. I'm gonna sprint straight for the crystal.
Cool. Nothing
Did your
hits you.
shield of faith dropped?
It's been more than a minute.
Good point.
So you're positive no one hits you on the way there. That will hit the crystal.
Second attack. I'm gonna make that a 2nd level Divine Smite.
Okay.
End this thing.
I'm gonna check.
Tasty.
Give me 2 seconds just while I take.
I don't know if is it the crystal you're smiting or is it someone else?
This is the crystal.
He is
I don't
smiting.
know if the crystal's an undead. Oh, it's 2nd level. My bad.
It's a 2nd level one.
I get to reroll 1s and 2s as part of my Divine Smites because it's part of a weapon attack and therefore applicable
indeed.
to great weapon fighting.
Nice.
It's the fucking best part about it. That was an awesome thing to learn.
Give me 2 seconds while I
I
check
love
the
playing
effect
two.
of the
That's why everybody's like Sword and Shield Paladin because you're meant to be the tank, but Great Weapon Paladin is also really good because of that.
30-foot radius, 60-foot sphere.
Oh, DPS paladins are way better than tank paladins, and I'm not taking back that opinion.
Okay, so I need to make con saves. 1, 2, 3, and 1. What is your spell save DC as a paladin, Ewan?
15.
Not fucking bad.
So that's a fail, fail, fail. Do me a favour and roll me 4d10.
Yo.
19.
Cool. That's enough to drop that one, and those are still up, but they're not looking good. As you go to break this crystal, as you go to set it apart, you are used to obviously this necrotic energy poisoning you, this wave erupting and obviously revitalizing these creatures. As you go to whack it with your divine smite, your axe glowing with this radiant fire, you break it in half and you watch as the purple glow in the crystal almost starts to turn white, turning into almost a pure white quartz amethyst, as rather than erupting in a necrotic wave, instead it almost erupts like daylight, scouring across the field to the point, Eidolon, you can see this almost burst of sunlight that just splits the trees of Kinreen. And for yourself, Marcus, are fighting these commoners, these common blighted creatures, they are turned again to ash and cinders, where the only one that seems to be standing, the only one that seems to be on its feet, is one of these iron dragons. Gorbin has passed, he is sadly turned to ash, but one of the blighted wights, one of these blighted dragons, still stands, the only one still standing on the battlefield.
Mechanically, was that fucking Dawn?
That was Dawn, yes.
That's fucking Dawn! That's a fucking...
The pure
Look at-
Chad power of paladins.
This motherfucking 8th level paladin just got to cast a 5th level spell because he's that fucking cool.
Faith works in mysterious ways.
Like fucking decimating undead bitches.
What I do.
As Marcus are, there is
Ewan just found his own way to kill these things.
as there is one guy left. He doesn't look good. He almost seems to be burning, but it's not from fire, it's almost from pure white light that just seems to be almost scorching his skin.
That's not the guy on me, is he? Oh, sorry, Paul.
You're still dealing with your guy.
No, I was just asking to make sure if this was the same guys I'm dealing with, or if this is one of their guys.
This is one of their guys.
One of our guys.
Good, sorry, I'll shut up.
He's looking not too good and weakened by the dawn. So I'm just gonna not waste a spell and just attack him a couple of times with my sickle.
Go for it.
16?
That'll hit.
Okay, I'll just roll the second one.
Also hit.
Cool. So first attack. 3 damage.
He's still up.
Epic!
I hate D4s, honestly. 8 damage with both those attacks.
So he is down, and as you see, when he is down, you get him down. You manage to almost sever a few of his limbs as they're almost falling off of him at this point. The body starts to crisp and burn like fire. He's probably not coming back from that. As there is no blight on your turn, as you have expelled it all. So, Ranagash.
Oh, he's
Oh no!
And he's gone crazy. What a shit.
He finally,
How many nat ones is it up tonight?
That's a
Four?
lot.
That's a lot of nat ones tonight.
Oh, no.
This night has been
He finally got
interesting for nat ones.
He finally got the confidence to look down, and then he saw why he was freaking out again.
No, he just vomited, didn't he?
Shall we find out? What's my constitution? It's a +2,
Con
right?
save.
So, yeah, it's a +2. +2. A little bit.
Just a little burp,
In his mouth.
Give me a D100
Acid
roll, Matthew.
reflux.
Oh no.
I don't like this. I don't like this. 36.
I think I know what this is. It's not good.
Oh, interesting. Okay. I'm going to send you something, Matthew. It is your way to how you will personify that for Ran, given the current situation that he is experiencing. Ran's current situation is not looking good. He's been able to pull himself back. He perhaps had the positivity of starting to move, starting to pull forward, his vision starting to clear, and then he actually saw what was there. And stumbling back, probably going back into the corner, vomiting slightly and finding himself bubbling again, he is slowly losing his grip on things, as he is now suffering from an effect of madness, though the personification of that effect is now up to Matthew. As Eidolon, you are standing alone with the big hammer boy.
So just making note that I need to fucking send a message back home that maybe the solution to all this after all was fucking religion. Because it seems Wolfric's got this sorted. Making a mental note. But Eidolon were just...
Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead, Paul. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Before Eidolon makes his turn, Marksar would have told Wolfric that we should probably assist Eidolon. I imagine we both be making our way there.
Yeah, that's kind of my thinking.
Yeah, just wanted to make sure.
Eidolon, we're just making a mental note. This is important. That was very fucking effective. I mean, it's the same amount of effectiveness as Eidolon's ability with his arms, but still, that was brutally effective. More just readying his sword, readying himself again, turning up the hammer boy. I'm going to make 2 attacks with my sword and 2 attacks with my unarmed attacks. I'll staticize it depending on how many hit. So sword, that's, I'm assuming, 11 misses?
Miss.
I'm going to expend... I've only got 1 key point left. That would only make it 13. These things seem to have an AC of 14. So I'll just leave that as is. That's a 15. Does that hit?
That'll hit.
And then my 2 unarmed attacks, non-nat 20 and 12. 12 misses.
12
so
misses.
I'll spend a key point to make that
14?
14,
That'll
assuming
hit.
that hits. Nope. So that is essentially with the first one, it's more taking the stab through. I imagine he, with at least a tiny bit of deft, dodges out of the way. So we're taking a lunge for him, then catching him off guard, he steps to the side, slashing to the right. As he takes 25 points of slashing damage.
Yeah, he's not
As
looking
more
good
just-
after that.
More lunging forward into the stab wound, since its max damage is quite a large one, literally sticking his hand into the wound.
Letting the tendrils
As
erupt.
I'm gonna let... Yeah, buddy.
Rip
As
him
that
apart.
is 25! Again! Force damage!
50 points of damage.
As literally, for Wolfric and Markazar, as you guys arrive on scene to obviously give Eidolon a hand, you literally just see chunks of a guy, chunks of a man, fly across the road of Kinreen as the tendrils just erupt from Eidolon.
Does Wolfric even get a little glance of who the man might have been?
I think you get an instantaneous glance.
With that, Wolfric, you would be able to see it's not so much the figure, the person, it's the weapon.
His head just rolls. His head rolls next to Ewan's feet.
It lands in his hands like...
It's, well, not only the weapon, it is a kind of shrapnel that ends up falling with the body, as whoever this was, alongside their weapon, they seem to have quite a lot of religious notes on them, a lot of religious symbolry on them. Primarily, they had symbols pertaining to the sun, a phoenix, they had an anchor around their neck, but the big one that they had was a black silhouette with a rainbow tail. For Ewan, being the only one who knows anything of the new faith to some degree, these are donations to Yannick, so people who protect the dead, so stop undead. Notations to Isoji, so renewal, second chances. Liara, obviously, sun, light, innocence, and the big one being Evada, the goddess of life and protection. These iconographies, these symbols are familiar to you, alongside the hammer that is now almost broken in two on the ground as Eidolon kind of picks himself up and dusts himself off, with the lower half of this once blighted gentleman kind of falling to the ground. As
is that all of the undead
dealt
gone?
with? You're now officially out of combat.
We did it, boys.
Wolfric begins after Wolfric puts away his axe, both of them would see his face just completely sink, and he starts picking up the pieces of the guy that Eidolon just eviscerated, just collecting them, and you see by the legs he's trying to form some semblance of the guy's body. His hands are fucking shaking.
If he's doing that, I'm literally going to go over, grab him by the shoulder, and try pull Wolfric away from whatever he's doing. I don't know if that's contested strength. Is Wolfric trying to resist that, Ewan?
Yes.
To contested strength.
Athletic.
I'm also helping in this. This is scary.
Do I roll with advantage?
Roll with advantage, Craig.
Is this just
athletics?
So with athletics. So with
Ewan, what's your bonus?
+7.
Mine is the same because I'm using my wisdom right now.
Because your arms are up.
Oh shit, that's not right. Sorry, that's not right. 2d20 KH1, my bad.
As Markazar and
It just rolled 2d20.
they are able to pick
It's
you
only
off.
one off Ewan's.
Markazar and Eidolon are able to pick you off of him. They're able to pick you up off the ground, tear you away from this dead man, but they are having to fight tooth and nail to keep you away from him.
Wolfric, what are you doing?
He didn't have to die like this. He's the last person that deserved to end up like this.
Eidolon, we're stopping for a second, realizing what that probably means for Wolfric. Who
That
was
was
he?
Volker. He was the first friend I made in the Iron Dragons.
Oh no. Oh god.
Was he with you when the carriage was attacked?
Yes. He must have made it out. This is the one thing he wouldn't wanted. He fucking hated the undead. And he points to the guy's hands, which even though they were mutated, Eidolon would have seen they were deeply scarred.
Mm-hmm.
During our mission, we had to deal with a small outbreak of undead caused by a necromancer, and one of them touched his hand, and he burned it. He burned his own hand.
Oh
in
shit,
penance
that's cool.
for touching the filth.
In character,
It's
that's
like-
very sad. Out of character, that's very cool.
It's likely he never escaped the carriage attack then. I'm sorry, Wolfric, this is likely what happened to the rest of them.
Wolfric's gonna make a constitution check. You can see he retches, and he's like digging his nails into the ground. And I'm not gonna do it because
Yeah.
I live in a house with people. But he just lets out this primal scream. And
Go ahead.
he's just pounding his fist into the ground, just like primal screaming.
More keeping his hand on Wolfric's shoulder, less like forcibly now, more just keeping it there. I know this is another tough question, but was there any more that you knew like this over by the caravan yard?
There was Quinny and Constantine, but they're ash now. I'm gonna have to pick what I think their ashes are out, and I'm gonna bury them.
No, you don't mean the ones from Thornsguard.
I do. And there's another Iron Dragon, Gorbin. He was there.
Did you recognize the other Iron Dragons?
No, they must have been whelps. They must have been new bloods. Gorbin wasn't with us when the caravan was attacked. He'd gotten the flu, so he stayed back.
I hope you know what this means.
It can be nothing good.
Listen, I know you'll want to head off immediately, but we need to rest.
I know. I'm not... Gorbin probably died protecting them, though.
And we'll make sure none of their deaths, not his, not any of the others we killed today in vain, okay?
Oh, and he kind of laughs. Oh, Gorbin, half elf, half orc, zero common sense.
How does that even happen? As I'd start helping Wolfric up.
Oh, his mother was a diplomat and his dad was a bodyguard.
How fairy tale. As I'd more encourage Wolfric to essentially keep going with the happier memories. So we head back to Frida's house, probably.
As he's walking, he would have probably went over very quickly and dug little holes for the ashes of what he thinks is Quinny and Constantine.
I mean,
I'll help him with that.
It is a nice place to rest, I guess. Kinreen as a glade is beautiful, and the forest of Kinreen even more so. It's not too different from Thornsguard, it's just a little bit more sheltered, perhaps.
So entertain me, Wolfric. Why exactly would she have broken her kneecaps?
She just became fiercely protective over me. And
Good
he
woman, then.
wipes a tear, and he's like, stubborn woman. Someone's gonna have to feed Phil now.
Phil?
Our cat.
It's how they
He's got a
met.
pet, let's go!
They met when
One
he
more
rescued
reason to
her
get to
cat.
Thornsguard.
And
One more reason to get to Thornsguard.
And there is, I'd like to imagine, as they're walking back to Frida's, he looks back and there is he sees a brief like glimmer that looks like them passing on, and it's the she waved in the way that she always waved, arm completely above her head.
Oh.
Just so that you can see her. So that you know that she's there. And I guess when you guys head back to Frida's, obviously the devastation around town's still there, and it'll still be there for a while, as the scar is gonna take some time to heal over. The house is deathly silent.
And as they're approaching, he would have been telling more funny stories to lighten the mood. And so I told him I had a bite and I about whiteyed all over the floor, and I told him, Constantine, I care for you deeply. I will hurt you the next time that you put apples in steak and chicken liver pie.
What, so you can take it in beef, but not steak?
There's something about the balance between beef and apple that's different. Chicken liver has a completely weird texture that doesn't work with apple.
You have a strange boundary of where apples are okay and apples are not okay.
Listen, you learned to tolerate it eventually.
Just not that. Not that.
Just not that.
Eddie, maybe you could try make it sometime.
If I get the recipe off of Arissa, I just might.
Wonder if he'll even have written it down.
Doubt it. The man was half blind. Even if he did, his handwriting's fucking chicken scratch.
I think that's how half the apples ended up in them. He didn't even know what he was fucking putting in it.
Yeah, he half blind, absolutely zero depth perception. I don't know how that man made it as a farmer, to be perfectly honest. I'm pretty sure God The gods have been looking away for most of his life.
He made it work by the sound of it.
He lived a long life. It would have been 84.
Jesus, that's long for medieval times. Jesus. Sounds like a good life then too.
Most of it was spite. Oh, I swear
There's
to God,
nothing.
if I get in there and Nathaniel Hargreaves is still alive.
Well, there's nothing better to keep someone alive than spite.
Him and Nathaniel hated each other, absolutely hated each other. And it was honestly, the two of them were competing for who would die first. Like, each of them was trying to outlive the other one. And I think it was that spite that kept both of them going.
Let's see who comes back the victor when we get there then.
Yeah.
Have we arrived back at the house yet?
You will have, yes. It doesn't look like much has been disturbed from here.
My first instinct would be to check on Radagash.
Yeah, I was gonna knock on the door essentially when we came in and shout for him.
Would you respond to them shouting on you, Matthew?
I would have shouted. I would have gone up to the room to like check on him.
So the thing I am subject to has an initial saving throw. Have I already failed that, or do I need to roll for it?
Give me a roll for it.
I don't think I have any. Well, I do have a bonus to that. It's proficiency. That's a wisdom saving throw.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good. That would be considered a pass.
Okay. That. Is there anything else I need to roll in that case then? Let's just make a wisdom check as well. Not good.
Nope.
I'm tempted to roll either Dex or Con, but I don't know.
Oh, you've rolled Con before. Maybe give it a Dex.
Yeah, let's give it a Dex.
Cheeky wee Dex.
Dex is just straight. See if I can keep standing. Nope, I am on the floor.
So for yourself, Eidolon calling out, Ranagash doesn't respond. For yourself, Markstar going up to check Ranagash. He seems kind of comatose on the floor.
Just a little bit.
Okay. Gosh, didn't mean to yawn there.
This much comatose. This much okay.
Am I able to check what's wrong with his condition? Like, I'm looking for scars. I'm looking for.
Give me medicine.
Yeah. That is a +4.
Yeah, if we don't hear anything back though, I'm gonna turn to Wolfric, give him a nod, and start heading up the stairs too.
19.
Wolfric's gonna follow.
Physically, Ranagash is alright. He probably should get some water or some bread, something to try and settle his stomach. But everything right now that's wrong with him is cognitive. It's in his head. And his head right now is broken.
So we'll fix that. I'll call down to Eidolon and Wolfric to fetch me water and bread.
Alright, get some water and bread.
I am gonna head up first because Markstar did advise me to do something else when I got home, which is check on Frida. So I'm gonna prioritize doing that first.
Yeah, when you head into the room, you can see Marcusar kind of, I guess, helping and readjusting Ranagash to some degree, making sure he's not quite so comatose on the floor. With Frida's condition, give me a medicine check, Eidolon.
Whilst I'm doing this, I'll simply call down. I don't expect a response, but it's more when you're in a state like this, talking is usually the best thing. Almost in not like a snappy tone, but more just a slightly sharper tone. Aaron, can you speak at all? If not, give me a shake or a nod.
It's like talking to your drunk mate.
Medicine, that's a 9.
You're not
in the world though.
You're not too sure about her condition.
In that case, I'm going to stay.
She seems stable, but you're not sure.
Then I'm not leaving until I have a sure yes or no. I'm essentially going to stay at the body, trying to talk to Ranagash at the same time.
Would Ranagash respond either with a shake or a nod?
Imagine he manages to just, like, almost leverage himself up from the floor just a bit. Like, just with the hand. Don't know if it would be a shake of the head, but you could do something.
You hear I'm assuming you heard all the commotion outside.
Give, like, a very shaky nod.
Most of Kinreen had these weird crystals set up around it, though. We managed to get rid of all of them. Not many casualties in town at all. Most of them, though, seem to be from elsewhere. There are people Wolfric knew. I understand if you don't want to, but we're likely going to be heading to Thornsguard come morning. We need to know if something has happened there too. We don't need to, especially with how everything's gone here, but we would appreciate your assistance as always. You've got tonight to mull it over though, if you need to start. As he'd more just look down and sort of just gesture at all of you, working on yourself a bit.
As give me another medicine as Wolfric arrives with some bread and some water, where you arrive onto the scene with Eidolon kind of checking over Frida and Marcus are kind of, I guess, supporting Ran as he's only a few inches off of the floor and looking very, very pale for a half-orc.
He's more like
Actually,
a forest screen now.
I have something to pass to Marcusar. I don't know if he'll have one.
Here, have some water.
You deserve it, King.
Drink up.
Paul, I have something for you to
also
add to
made
your
you a
equipment list.
sandwich.
Oh, what are you adding to my equipment list?
I stole some things from your old tower.
Ranagash,
So,
you get
in
water and
case
a
it has-
sandwich.
In case it has anything to help with emotional or like calming things, you'll get a herbalism kit. So I feel that'll be better on you than me.
That's cool. Yeah, I have one already.
Well, now you have double the resources. That'll just double your quantity.
I would
There
have
we
gone through the cupboards and stuff for like meats, or any corned beefs.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Oh, corned beef sandwich.
Because corned beef's really easy to digest.
Yeah.
Like, at least for me, it slides down very easily.
I didn't like how you phrased that.
As with your own medicine check, Eidolon, you are able to at least know that she is stable. The infection seems to have subsided. However, I guess the uncertainty you have in the back of your mind is this wasn't a standardized version of the blight. There wasn't a crystal. This was something Gaerdrah has made. So you don't know if even it's kind of the itch in the back of your head of you've removed it, she is stable, she is safe, she will live, but you don't know if he can bring that back or not.
So it's a certainty of if we want to make sure that she stays safe for a while, we just need to kill him.
Yeah.
As also, I'll turn back to Ranagash. Do you want the easy answer or the brutal honesty?
Just kind of shake his head.
As Eidolon gives like a very slighted chuckle. Just a finger or two to show which one. 3 for neither. Eidolon would more just shrug. Well, alright then. As he'd more turn back and start reapplying some bandages to her. Hey Wolfric, can I speak to you outside? I'd say essentially just finishing up one of the bandages.
You put the sandwich and the water down. You just get to those when you're ready. And he pats Ranagash on the shoulder and goes up to talk with Eidolon.
I'd more take him out the door and just a bit down the hall, so a bit out of Ranagash's field of hearing. She's gonna live. But it's not gonna come back, but I have no guarantee that Gaerdrah can't will it back into her. The only way we can make sure she's safe permanently is to kill him. That's it. That's all we can do.
I was planning on killing him from the start. Like, that was... I avoided saying her name in front of him because I don't want her brought into this.
What did you want to say to him?
I wanted to say he is a sad little man who no one has ever loved.
Yeah, he would.
I don't fear Gaerdrah. I pity him.
He doesn't deserve either. Don't say, if you have the capacity to. Eidolon's almost like essentially stumbling through his words. He doesn't exactly know how to phrase what he wants to say.
I can show restraint, don't worry.
I have to warn you about something though, Wolfric.
What?
Through what he showed in the Citadel with Alanus and then later with Azamir, he can peer into the minds of the people who he has under his control.
And that includes...
I don't know how much he'll know about you already.
Shit.
I'm sorry if this is a lot at once, especially with what happened out there.
It just puts us on a time constraint.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. I'm sorry, okay? You weren't involved in any of this, and now...
I dragged myself into this, a lot of this.
No, you didn't. I dragged each and every one of you into this. It's my fault.
But I kept going. I could have turned away. I could have found a different group to go slay that dragon with. There's lots of people who want to go slay a dragon. I chose this group because I trust each and every one of you.
And I'm sorry, but no other group could help you kill that dragon.
Exactly. Now I know the scope of it. It's one of Gaerdrah's fucking machinations.
It's called a Northul.
A what?
Eidolon chuckles for a second. It's a term we use on the wall. Listen, I shouldn't be saying this, but we have attacks from them semi-regularly. I know roughly how to bring one down.
Excellent. I think we should all get some rest.
Yeah.
Wolfric's gonna walk. Wolfric quickly checks in on Ran.
I can't imagine he'll have moved very much.
Have you got him, Marcusar?
I think it'll be okay. Just needs.
I'm gonna walk over. I'm gonna
rest.
walk over to Ranagash. Place my hand on his shoulder. Can you give me if you're resisting, give me a charisma saving throw. If not, let me know.
I don't think I have the willpower to resist anything at this point.
Calm emotions.
That's interesting.
Just help alleviate some of what's happened to him.
So I guess...
I also have an idea of something I could help Ranagash with, just before you want to describe, if that's okay.
Yeah.
What I'll do is I'll head through to, because Ranagash has shown he can communicate telepathically with his runes, yeah?
Yeah.
I don't know if that'll be easier for him to do right now than speaking, so I'll essentially go through, try find the satchel that has his runes in them, and take him through so that if he needs to communicate with us, he can do it telepathically rather than having to speak to us.
Yeah.
Have I seen him use the message rune yet?
You will have, yeah.
Yeah, bro.
In that case, I'll just essentially have a little... Yeah, I'll have a quick go through his satchel, find the message rune, and take it through to him.
As I guess with the support of obviously Marcusar Eidolon giving you the message rune, Marcusar just kind of keeping you steady, Wolfric bringing you kind of the food, water, and trying to help calm. It clears your head enough that it doesn't remove any of the guilt, doesn't remove any of the broken state. I guess it just gives you the breath to, I guess, cope with it, to feel like you're not being as weighted, you're not being as pressured, you don't feel as sick. Is at least
Still under the effect of the thing. Okay, noted.
And then once that's happened, Wolfric's gonna head off to bed, and he's gonna pass by Eidolon, and he's gonna go, "We're gonna kill Gaerdrah, alright. We're gonna take him down as fast as we can. But I know one thing, and I may not know
looks up.
much. I promise you'll get the final blow."
And once we bring that dragon down, I'll make sure it's your axe that cleaves its head from it.
And he kind of holds out his holds out his arm to Eidolon.
Yeah, I know what to do. I'll do the same. Don't worry.
They do the forearm grab.
I'll use that to sort of get up a little bit, as Eidolon will be a little bit closer to the floor. So sort of use that to pull himself up.
And then Wolfric, he'd been crying for a lot of this, so Wolfric, with blotchy face, a hoarse voice, stumbles to his room, gets undressed, prays harder than he's ever prayed, and then goes to bed.
Where does Ranagash sleep for tonight?
He's going to a room. He's obviously past the same, but still, he's getting out of there as well as quick as he can, which is not very fast at the moment.
People are a little bit pressuring at the moment. They're kind of scary.
Are you eating the sandwich, Ran?
Slowly.
Eat the sandwich.
Give him his fucking time.
He can take the sandwich as a midnight snack.
I'll stay in the room with Frida. Essentially tend to the bandages one more time before essentially just propping myself up against the wall. Just kind of sitting down to sleep instead, just staying in that room. Probably shutting the door, just in case anything goes wrong.
Yeah.
But, yeah. That's where I'll set up.
Yeah.
Marcusar will be going to bed as well.
Marcusar retires as well for a uneasy night's sleep for the four of you after a relatively chaotic day and one of our longest sessions as we bring it to a close. And on a
At midnight.
and on a somber note with that timestamp, I do get to say that for next session, you boys are level 9.
Let's go.
Yo! Fucking +4 proficiency.
Guys,
What
Yeah.
did you get?
spell.
It's time.
I have counter spell now. Third
Yeah.
level
My
spells.
passive is 22.
Fuck.
What do I get? I bet it's not much.
It's not, it's a
You get a
proficiency bonus and an additional spell slot.
Damn it. Like, it's
You
so
don't get.
boring.
Hang on. You're a druid, right? Don't druids get 4th level spells?
Yeah,
Yeah.
You get
I already
4th
have
level
4th level
spells. No, you
I
get
already
5th
have-
level spells.
5th level
'cause
spells.
We're 9.
Yeah, I get
You get
a
5th
5th level
spell.
spell.
You get a 5th
Guys, I
level
can
spell.
run up walls now.
for next session, obviously upgrade your health, upgrade your stats, fix your skills, because obviously your proficiency bonus has gone up, fix your spells, and there's not really much else to say from tonight, as a lot to process. As for now, it is goodbye from me, and it is a somber goodbye from my boys.
Goodbye.
Bye bye.